Good evening, everyone, to Homecoming 2019, as we welcome our Davison alumni here with all of our Cardinal fan spectators this evening. The Davison Schools, along with your Davison Athletic Department, would like to welcome the visiting families, along with our Cardinal families here this evening to Cardinal Stadium. Once again, welcome Cardinal fans as we host the Comets, fans visiting from the great city of Grand Ledge in our effort and pursuit for great sportsmanship. Let's all join in positively to support our players and coaches. Grand Ledge fans, here comes your Comets. Rise up and get on your feet. At this time, we ask that you please stand. The privilege of this game was made possible by those who have fought and continue to fight for the freedoms we enjoy. Let us honor and respect our country by gentlemen, please remove your caps. Everyone standing at attention, placing our hands over our hearts as we proudly join in singing while listening to the Davison Marching Band under the direction of James C. Schuster as they perform our national anthem.
after last week's routing over Grand Blanc, a final score of 41-0, Week 6 of the 2019 Davison Cardinals season sees the Grand Ledge Comets in town facing the Cardinals for the first time in both teams' history. Homecoming week 2019, all the events of this week leading up to kickoff tonight between the Comets and the Cardinals. Hi, folks. Thanks for watching on DTV Channel 191 tonight. Chris Jarrett and Mason Palmentier, all of our DTV crew, and we'll be bringing you Cardinal football this chilly October 4th, 2019. Mr. Palmentier will talk about tonight's broadcast, but a cold game for the Cardinals and the Comets as Davison will have the football first to get this homecoming game going. But a really exciting team that Davison has been boasting all season long, and quite the crowd that has come out to watch them tonight on homecoming. Should be a really exciting game.
Yeah, I mean, they've been on a rampage lately, 5-0, and they've been outscoring all these guys super well.
And so we're going to see that offense put to display right in the first moments of this first quarter as the Comets won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half. So Grand Ledge will have the football to start half number 2, but Davison with a couple of shutouts, 3 in a row for this Davison defense, but it's been the offense that Mason was mentioning that has been scoring the points, 268 this season, and they'll get a chance to get it going early on.
Yeah, it should be a stunner. And these fans are real excited. They've been here since like 5:45, 6 o'clock.
It's Smith, a dangerous returner, should say, as he kind of botches it but picks it up. Wrapped up and netted about the 15-yard line, and the Comets are going to tuck the Cardinals deep at their 15-yard line to start this first possession. Cardinal offense coming out, and they'll have it at their own 15. Now, Mason, a ball game last week for the Cardinals, only played one half of football against Grand Blanc, but the Cardinals took advantage of both quarters. They put 41 points on the board. They scored on every single drive that they had the football. Really impressed the Cardinal fans that had come out to watch it on DTV as we expected some rain, didn't get it, but an offense that has been talented this entire season, and the Comets going to be put to the test tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Sullivan's been doing a great job. He stepped up to this role after Cannon Hall left, and I mean, he threw for 6. He was responsible for 6 touchdowns last game, so he's doing a great job.
Cannon Hall leaving the program, and now it's Brendan Sullivan's team. Alone in the backfield, he'll throw to his left. It's Fordham who catches it. He's got it with some space on the far sideline. A couple of flags do fly, and we'll see where this one goes. Pretty good gain on the first play of scrimmage, but what will the flags have?
Yeah, Fordham kind of had a rough game last week. He got doubled on against Grand Blanc. He wasn't able to do much, but...
That's right. They matched him up pretty good and didn't really get any opportunities, actually. He was the first target that Sullivan went in the air last week against the Bobcats, but no catches for him. But, you know, pretty tough to find some space when you're shadowed by 2 defenders the entire night.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, though. He's still the top scorer in top row. He has the most touchdowns in this division.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns.
Without having any touchdowns last week, still holding that slate at the top. So holding called against the Cardinals. I believe that they will redo first down. Down marker shows second, so I think it will be second down. Scoreboard shows 1st and 17 as Sullivan 2 yards from his own end zone. He will give it up the middle, and a little gain up the gut, just shy of the 15-yard line, but the Cardinals in a bit of a hole, going to have to move it.
Yeah, great play there by Smith. I mean, I didn't expect that handoff, right? And they're pretty deep back, and so I didn't expect to run there, or at least straight up the middle.
We saw the first drive for the Cards against the Bobcats last week. They were kind of stalled by a few penalties of their own, but cleaned it up. And Sullivan was able to score his first touchdown in the air. He connected with the sophomore Jalen Flowers for the touchdown. That was after a long drive. High snap, Sullivan on the ground. Did he get it, though? A couple of Comets in the backfield. And a flag flies all the way in from the Cardinals sideline late. Let's see what we have here. Not the smoothest opening possession for the Cardinals tonight, Mason.
Yeah, I mean, a fumbled kickoff, and then another fumble.
And so it is Smith who did bobble that kick. He's coming back in from the sideline. A flag sitting at about the 27-yard line right in front of the Cardinals' home sideline as the officials meet up to talk this one over. There's the Cardinal huddle as they try to get on the same page. A high snap that you really can't ask much of Sullivan to do with.
Yeah, he had one like that last week against Grand Blanc, but he was able to recover and get right a couple yards past the line of scrimmage.
And it looks to be Carter Kreideman checking out as the call was a personal foul against the Cardinals. 2 flags against Davison on their opening down, and it's going to really put them back in their own territory.
Yeah, it looked like they're bringing Flowers on. He had a touchdown last week. He hasn't had much action this season, but we got to see a little bit of him last week, see what he could do.
So the Cardinals might be opening up their formation, or at least putting a little bit more speed in there. And it's going to be Harrison Terry coming to the near sideline. 3 receivers up top to Sullivan's left, and he's got Smith in the backfield. Scoreboard shows 3rd and 21 with just under 11 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Sullivan looking, dances out of the end zone with some pressure, scampers out of the backfield, now on the far sideline. He's wrapped up, still on his feet, shaking off some tackles, but it won't go much further. Can't get to the down marker, and a rough start for the Cardinals. They'll bring out the punt unit as they fail to convert on 3rd down. Hang on a minute as a flag flies late at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Brennan.
Sullivan signaling for a first down. Let's see what the officials come up with here. It was a way late flag after the play, and the junior quarterback, you see him, Mason, signaling for a first down. It might be maybe a late hit or a personal foul on the Comets. We'll see, though.
Yeah, maybe. And, he's not just a fantastic quarterback. He's great running the ball, too. I mean, he had quite a few rushing touchdowns last week. He's able to really do some good stuff.
So it is a personal foul on the Comets. Ball is marked at about the 12-yard line, and the official's going to spot this one up. It will be, I believe, 15 yards. And if that's the case, the Cardinals will have a first down, but they will walk it just to make sure.
Yeah, it's a rough possession for them so far.
Boy, that flag really saves the Cardinals, as it was a rocky opening possession, but a late flag on 3rd and very long. As Sullivan tried to do it himself, he did get some yards back. Didn't get the down to gain, or the line to gain, should say, rather. But this will be a first down. That's huge to keep the opening possession alive for the Cardinals. They have it at about their own 28-yard line. That's huge.
It is.
Now you've got a new down, 1st and 10, and some space behind you, a chance to open it up. Sullivan will fake the little throw, now rolling to his right to the near sideline. In some trouble, though, shakes off a tackle, met at about the 34-yard line. Officials say that Sullivan was down as the ball popped free.
Yeah, it looks like he smacked down the ground, tried to get some extra yards there, but that did not work out. Popped right out of his hand. And those Grand Ledge players were all over it.
Opening possession for the Cardinals as we just passed the 10-minute marker in the first quarter. 9:55 to play. Cardinals on their opening possession in a scoreless ball game.
Yeah, it's not like the Cardinals. I mean, especially on homecoming.
Well, and they get started fast, but a couple of penalties and then the high snap that Sullivan was really fortunate that he was even able to get on top of. He had 2 Comets around him on that pile. Another high snap, bobbles it, and Sullivan going to be wrapped up at about the 30-yard line. Boy, a really tough start for the junior quarterback, but, another one, again, that he's got to jump up and try to get with one hand. You can't start a playoff cleanly like that.
You really can't. And those Grand Ledge players are breaking through that offensive line almost immediately. They must have some insight to what the Cardinals have been doing this season.
So this will bring up 3rd down and about 8. Cardinals 5-0 this season, unbested this year, and they face a Grand Ledge team of 2-3. The Comets lost their opening 3 ball games before now riding a back-to-back win streak. They've won 2 in a row. A couple of tight ones as well to gain some momentum coming into a road game. Another high snap. Sullivan dumps off a screen pass, caught by Fordham, spins out of a tackle and gets the line to gain. A big grab for Fordham as it was over the middle. He had to reach and go grab it. Able to get it, and then he was able to get the line to gain. He caught it, Mason, was in front of that down marker, made it happen to get the first down.
Yeah, I'm only expecting more of that from him in this game. He's been stellar all season.
And so Fordham, as Mason mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the leading scorer for all SVS players in 2019 in the red division. He leads all categories despite not having any touchdowns against the Bobcats. Still at the top of the Saginaw Valley League. Sullivan with 2 receivers to his right. He will give it up the middle. Smith hasn't carried it much, but here he is across the 50-yard line and into Comet territory on the opening drive. Another rocky start for the Cardinals. We saw it last game against Grand Blanc, but we all know how that one ended up. Only needed 1 half to make it a decisive 41-0 against the Bobcats.
Yeah, now they're starting to seem more like themselves. They're marching down the field right now.
Harrison Terry again on the near sideline. Up top, it looks to be Fordham. Gave up the middle again. Why not to Smith? Gets to about the 35-yard line. It'll be another first down for the Cardinals. They keep it on the ground here, and it's been working.
Yeah, another big gain there by Smith. He's been on fire all season. Didn't have that much action last game. He had about 50 yards rushing, but he's still a great contributor to this team with that senior presence, and he's amazing.
Caleb Smith atop the SVL in the rushing category with 325 total yards. He's met at about the 25-yard line. Is that going to be another first down? It was 1st and 10, right up the middle. The officials are marking it right at about the 25. We'll see if they do give the Cardinals another fresh down.
Still I mean, he's been marching them down the field right now.
They do move the chains, so the Cardinals on that run do get another fresh set of downs. Under 8 minutes to play in the opening quarter. No score as the Cardinals had it back all the way at their 1 at one point, and a flag on 3rd and very long kept this drive alive. Smith up the middle, into the secondary, shaking off defenders. Did he get in? Yes! Touchdown, Davison with 7:40 to play in the first quarter. And Caleb Smith, the Cardinals go on the ground, pounding it up the middle against the Comets, and he gets into the end zone for a 25-yard touchdown run.
And we're going to have a replay of that touchdown, but man, he just marched them down from their own end all the way into Grand Ledge territory, able to get that touchdown there.
Boy, at one point, you really thought that drive would be a punt. You know, you got to put your defense out on the field, but a late flag on Brendan Sullivan. It was a personal foul against the Comets. It gave Davison a first down, and from there, they moved it right down the field. And a couple of third down conversions as well. Kick is a low one. Did it get through, though? It did.
Just barely. May have been a bad setup there from the center up.
Got over the crossbar, and the Cardinals in front early. Their offense able to do what they've done all season long and just persevere as we take another look at that touchdown run. Boy, once Smith got into the secondary, it's very tough to stop him with the speed, not only the speed, but the size as well. See all the broken tackles there and just was able to muscle his way into the end zone.
Yeah, took that guy down with him, and I mean, he's marched them in from their own end. He just kept handing it off to him, and he did what he was supposed to.
Recapping that drive that just ticked away as well with 7:40 to play in the first quarter. The Cardinals on their opening drive that, Mason, we go back and recap. At one point it was at that 1 yard line after a holding penalty moved the Cardinals back. And they had 2 flags on that drive that put them right in their own end zone just about. But then it was 3rd and 20. Sullivan kept it, scampered on the far sideline. He did go down, but it was about 5 seconds after the play was over, and we saw a flag fly. Sullivan signaling for a first down, where in fact that was the case. It was a personal foul that gave Davison a first down. And just, you know, they kept fighting. They overcame adversity and persevered there.
I mean, it was a close one, and they got heart, that's for sure.
Well, they're going to need it here as the upcoming schedule. Remaining teams in the next 3 weeks only going to get more difficult, but they have Grand Ledge tonight here on homecoming as the kick is low, picked up. Ball is carried to about the 30-yard line, maybe a little bit more than that. And the Comets with pretty decent field territory to begin their offensive campaign tonight.
Yeah, certainly better than what the Cardinals had just there.
Yeah, no, they had it at their own 15, Davison did, and we mentioned at one point at the 10-yard line. Well, we mentioned Grand Ledge at 2-3 overall in 2019. Under their first-year head coach in Joe Bry. He's a graduate of Grand Ledge in 2005. Comets lost their first 3 games of the season, but we mentioned now off of back-to-back wins. They've got a receiver split way out on top at the 30-yard line. The quarterback in the backfield is number 5 in Logan Todd. Junior quarterback who plays both ways, defensive back as well. Give up the middle, and Todd will give it. The ball going to be taken to about the 36, 37-yard line. A solid chunk gain there on first down. They'll bring up second down.
Yeah, and before that last play there, we saw some of Jake Weingart's. He's fairly new coach for the Cardinals, too. I mean,
yeah.
And a great start last year, 6-0.
Yep.
Went on to be 7-3 and make it pretty decently far into the playoffs.
And this is now, Mason, the 4th straight year that the Cardinals have gotten off to at least a 5-0 start. I mean, this is the 2nd year in the Jake Weingart's era, who's 12-3 overall in his 2nd season. So really getting the Cardinals off to a good spot. Big contact, but fortunately Todd gave it to his ball carrier. Big hit by Smith, but it will result in a Comet first down, I believe.
Yeah, he's a performer on both sides of the ball. He's able to lay guys out and then run a touchdown, and just like we saw earlier.
Comets keeping it on the ground. They do have some size up front.
Yeah, got some big guys.
2 plays.
We're going to have a replay of that one there.
Yeah, that was a hard hit by Smith, and wow.
Just absolutely laid him out. What a big guy. He's a big guy, too. I mean, I'd be scared if he was running up at me like that.
Happy that he's in the maroon and gold tonight in 2019. Cardinals scored on their opening possession. They had it at one point at their own 1. Able to carry it all the way down the field, and a 25-yard touchdown run for Caleb Smith capped it. Todd will give it up the middle again. The ball carrier, 25 for the Comets, is Finn Buckland, the junior running back. How about that for a football name?
Yeah. Got wrapped up by just about everyone on our defensive line there. Big hit there.
Good defensive effort for the Cardinals. Well, this is the first time that these 2 teams have met. Grand Ledge, of course, coming from the west side of the state there, and facing some teams from that area as well. And Davison in their first matchup against the Comets in both teams' history.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Excited to see how this one goes. Yeah, no doubt. Last game for the Cardinals we mentioned against Grand Blanc, and it was right here at Cardinal Stadium. If you watched it on DTV, we couldn't blame you as it was a little chilly, but we expected rain. That's the big thing. Never got it. Todd the ball carrier, a little option. Football is loose on the ground, and I think the Cardinals hopped on it. They did.
Great awareness there by the Cardinals, able to hop on it right away.
That's Jay Davison who came up with the football, and we're going to get another look at it as the Cardinals, no turnovers last week. They get the first one of the ball game there on a fumble recovered by Davison, the senior.
Yeah, bad throw right there, and then he was able to jump on it.
When you saw Todd just pitch it off to the man that was waiting for it was Trey Welch.
Yeah, it did not work out how he was playing in.
I mean, you saw three Cardinals waiting for him. That's, not the best odds. If you're Todd, the quarterback there, you may as well just lower your shoulder and go into the line of scrimmage instead of just pitching it to the waiting ball carrier who was Welch. But great field position for the Cardinals, first down and 10. At about the 34-yard line. It's off in the backfield, and Smith with some space on the far sideline. Shakes a tackle, still loose down the far edge. It'll be for sure a first down, but a big gain for Davison on first down. And it's going to set themselves up nicely, I think, inside the red zone.
And you see that stiff arm there when he broke that tackle, let him get about 5 more yards there. Really working out for him.
First quarter, 5:29 to play in the opening frame. The Cardinals scored on their opening possession. They lead at 7-0 over Grand Ledge on homecoming 2019. Long week where you have the kickoff assembly on Monday, powder puff Wednesday night. Give up the middle again for the Cardinals into the secondary, spinning into the end zone for a touchdown. Davison on back-to-back possessions, able to find the end zone, and this time it's Carter Kreiderman for about a 15-yard carry.
Yeah, great play there. He's had some pretty big plays this season. He had like a 40-yard run early on in the season. He's having a pretty great junior season.
Kreiderman third in the league with runs in terms of total yards, and that adding to his campaign, as Mason mentions, now in his junior year. He's able to find the end zone again. Just the speed got him into the secondary. And the Comets, boy, the big thing is that they've gotten some contact, but just got to wrap up, and the Cardinals capitalizing, keeping the feet moving and finding the end zone.
Yeah, pretty much.
See the scoreboard there, 5:23 to play. As the kick is up and good, and the Cardinals able to capitalize on the turnover. That's going to be a big factor tonight, I think, as just a Davison offense that you cannot give them any free chances. We saw no turnovers last week, and they were able to outscore the Bobcats 41-0 in just 2 quarters.
Yeah, this offense is super high energy. If you make mistakes, they're going to catch them and they're going to act on them real quick.
Comets looked pretty good on their opening possession for the start. It was 2 times kept on the ground. They got a first down. They were able to move the chains, and then they tried the option as they got some pressure up front in the middle. Tried to open it up a bit, and the ball was slipped free on the pitch attempt on the option.
Yeah, and their defense looked pretty good on the Cardinals' opening drive, too. I mean, they were breaking through that line left and right. They were able to put Brennan under a lot of pressure, but not showing out as much there.
Yeah. Well, Davison with now in week 6, homecoming against Grand Ledge, but their upcoming 3 games going to be big ones as they've got De La Salle waiting for them next week at Wayne State as the Cardinals hit the road. That's, I think, at this point, the biggest test for Davison without question in 2019. They'll have Saginaw Arthur Hill in between after De La Salle, and then the final game of the season right here at Cardinal Stadium in week 9. The big rivalry that everybody is anticipating in the crosstown matchup against the Lapeer Lightning.
Yeah, and Lapeer and De La Salle were their only losses last season, from my memory.
That one's in the air, and it soars out of bounds past the 20-yard line. And so that will give the Comets a few yards to work with. And a nice little return off of the kick return after the Cardinal touchdown before their first drive, set them up at about the 35. Now they'll have it at about the 40.
Yeah, I wonder how Cardinals defense is going to respond to this. They aren't as close to their own territory.
Well, Davison coming off of back-to-back-to-back shutouts and a defense that has really been stellar. And that's, you notice how many points they're scoring, but how few that they're giving up as well. But as a matter of fact, it's not the best in the red division. We kept our eyes at Lapeer, who's only allowed 31 this season. Cardinals have allowed 40, and a big chunk of that coming against Fenton with 27.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Todd faked a little pitch, now looking over the middle. He's got some pressure, though. Slings it in the air, got a man caught with space as Carter Selby brings it in. Down the far sideline, it's a foot race. He'll go the distance.
And that's the first score on the Cardinals in 3 games right there.
A 65-yard touchdown reception as Selby had space over the middle. Todd kind of faked the pitch, looked over top, and was able to sling it high. And a big receiver that just took it all the way, displayed the speed as well as the height. And the Comets, they get a big play on the Cardinals defense that you mentioned, Mason, has not allowed a point in their last 3 ball games. Will they do so here against the Comets in their second drive?
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to make it 4 shutouts tonight.
Well, let's see how that ignites the Comet offense and defense as well, as the kick is well up and good. 5:09 to play in the opening quarter, and Grand Ledge has responded. 14-7 our score as the Cardinals, they put 14 points quickly up on the scoreboard, but now Grand Ledge on this play. You see Tom with the little fake, and then looking over top. Cardinals crashed inside and then tried to scramble after that. And you saw the sophomore Flowers there kind of give some space. And then once in the secondary, rather, no one could catch him as Pizzala, a speedy guy himself in the secondary for a reason, couldn't chase down Carter Selby.
Yeah, they had the effort there trying to pin him out against the out-of-bounds line, but they weren't able to converge.
And so Davison allows the touchdown with 5:09 to play. Grand Ledge, you got to give it to them. The distance that they've been able to travel, they brought the fans.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a game this close since Fenton. And
right.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see how Davison retaliates. I mean, that first kickoff wasn't too great. Wonder if they can do a little better on this one. And Caleb Smith's had quite a few kickoff returns for touchdowns this season.
It is Smith and Kreiderman back to return for the Cardinals. High kick, and Smith waiting for it about the 5. Goes a little high. He catches it at about the 3-yard line. Takes it up the gut. Hit hard at about the 27-yard line. I don't really think he just saw the defender over top of him, trying to make his way out to the right side and the near sideline, but Dallas Atwell came in with the pressure.
Yeah, it looks like he couldn't see him behind his blocker, but he was flying there for a second. It looked like he was going to go all the way before that guy looked like he clotheslined him just about.
So the Cardinals, despite their last drive, they had it at about the 35-yard line in Comet territory. Now they've got it at their own 30. Nothing that they can't handle, though, as we saw in the opening possession, had it back at about the 1-yard line before going the distance down the field, slowly chipping away. Personal foul on the Comets certainly helped on 3rd and 21.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be able to move it up the field like this with Caleb Smith, just like last drive, or the drive before.
Cardinals have Terry lining up by himself on the near sideline at the 30. And up top, it looks to be Pizzala and Flowers and Fordham. Sullivan with Smith in the backfield to his right. Waits the snap, he's got it. Looks to his left. Now trying to check to Smith. Lobs it on the sideline. Caught by the senior. Hit and forced out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. And a big gain for the Cardinals as they go over top. Patient for Sullivan. He saw Smith get the edge that he needed. And he connected with his senior.
Yeah, and Smith's on all sides of the ball today. He's rushing. He's making good tackles on defense. And he's catching passes now.
Certainly a weapon that got to give it to the offensive lineman that bought Sullivan the time as well to sling it over top. And a flag going to fly here and stop this play. Cardinals were looking to pass it again over top. With a flag flown, and this is going to be against the Comets. You see offsides.
Yeah, that's the last thing they want here. It's only going to get the Cardinals closer.
Right. It'll keep it first down and 5 now. 4:46 to play in the first quarter.
I mean, based on their performances earlier in the season, though, it might just be delaying the inevitable, just another Cardinal score.
Grand Ledge defensively has not had an answer for the Cardinal offense. 2 receivers out on both sides of Sullivan. The junior does look to his left. Trying to take a shot. Goes over top to Fordham. He's got him in the end zone for a touchdown.
Absolutely beautiful placement there by Sullivan. Picked him out and sent it right to him and perfectly ran his route there by Fordham.
Lofted it up in the air and connects with the homecoming king. 4:39 to play in the first quarter. And the Cardinals with a 30-yard touchdown strike as Sullivan connects with Fordham.
Yeah, that's one they're going to be watching back in the film because that's a textbook play right there.
You know, the speed that you like for Latrell, the senior, you just put it over top and let him go get it. Sullivan gave his receiver a great opportunity, put it well out in front of him, By the time he caught it, just standing in the end zone, uncontested, pending the extra point. Little pressure off the edge, but it does split the uprights. And make it 21-7 with 4:39 to play in this first quarter. Well, we've seen a lot of scoring as we take another look at the replay, but this might just turn into a shootout, Mason.
Maybe.
I like the Cardinal defense to respond, but here we see the offense again taking care of it. Look at the blocking, too.
I know, give Sullivan all the time in the world, and he's able to sail one over right to Fordham.
Great edge that you saw Christian Thrushman with the pressure and just buried the Comet defender. And, yeah, like you said, Sullivan all alone in the backfield, allowing him to give plenty of time for Fordham to let that route mature and connect with them over top. The score is 21-7, 4:39 to play in this opening quarter. Chris Jarrett, Mason Palmentier on homecoming night. Riley Wilcox was named Mr. Congeniality at the Powder Puff game, and a big congrats to him. That was awesome.
Yeah, now tonight we're excited to see who's homecoming queen and Miss Congeniality.
We will find that out at halftime. That'll be coming up at the end of quarter number 2. And, yeah, wow, what a homecoming week it's been, and quite the Powder Puff match as well, where it looked like the juniors in double overtime would try and steal that one with a great kick that split the uprights, but then the seniors, I think it was 2 plays later, they called ball game, threw it to the end zone and for a touchdown to walk it off.
Yeah, they made it back-to-back.
That was sweet. Boot is up and away, and again on the near sideline. This time it will stay in bounds. Return man is 24, Omar Loring. He's got some space, but that ends quickly. He's wrapped up hard at about the 25-yard line. Comets will have it 1st and 10. Last drive was a 65-yard touchdown pass. As Todd, a little option fake, he connected with Carter Selby over top. I think the big thing, too, on that, Mason, was the yards after the catch. I mean, he caught that probably at about the 45 or 50-yard line, and then he had to just basically a foot race to the end zone, but he got it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tall guy. He was able to show off some of that speed, too.
Yeah, the long legs coming in handy.
Yeah, made it past all those Cardinal defenders, like 4 or 5.
We'll see if they try to target that again. The Comets will have it at first, or should say at the 25-yard line, their own 25, 1st and 10. Todd signaling to his far sideline, trying to get on the same page. And the Comets, they got the wristbands on, trying to get the play call. 1st and 10 with 4:33 to play in first quarter. Man in motion, they do give it up the middle. And that ends quickly. Solid gain, though, about 5 yards, make it 2nd down.
Looks like it might be a passing game for them this time.
Yeah, and you know, on the first possession, we saw them keep it on the ground, and that started to work pretty well, but it was in the air on a little play fake that the Comets were able to find their first touchdown. The only points here in the first quarter for them. The Cardinals with a 21-7 lead with 4:05 to play.
I mean, keeping it this close against the top-scoring team in the state, that's not that bad.
This will be, it looks like a slow attack for the Comets.
Yeah, that one we thought was
They're kind of chipping away down there, looking to the sideline for the play call, and they've got it. Todd in the backfield, he's got a man in motion behind him. Again, he'll give it up the middle and runs into a pile of Cardinals that try to push the pile back. It's going to bring up 3rd down. I think the Comets went backwards there.
Yeah, I mean, they're seeing what's happening. They're able to just converge on it right away. They're stopping that run game pretty well.
We mentioned this, a Grand Ledge team under Joe Bry, the first-year head coach for the Comets. Was an assistant for a span of time with Grand Ledge for a while. Graduated 2005, a younger guy, as they lost their first 3 games of the season. Former head coach Matt Bird, as he led the Comets to a number of districts, gave Grand Ledge their first regional since 2000, just 4 years ago, 2015. Passing in the air, almost picked off, as it looks to be, there was Gabe Smith, the sophomore. Just went over his fingertips, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and he had a pretty solid game last game. He had about he had 4 tackles, and then he had half sack, and then the other half went to Pasco.
A promising force for the Cardinals, just a sophomore.
Yeah, he was a freshman on varsity last year too.
We saw a lot of, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but we saw a lot of young talent. Harrison Unger last year, a sophomore. We saw Sullivan a number of times in a late game situation would take over as quarterback, but receiving as well, was a sophomore. Jake Weingard's program that puts the young guys in. It's a high boot, but Fordham waiting for it. Received at about the 40 with a lot of space, trying the far sideline. Spins out of a tackle, still on his feet. Breaking for the near sideline, nobody home. Fordham Sullivan takes it back for his second touchdown tonight. A 60-yard return to put the Cardinals up big in the first quarter.
Ooh, take it easy, Latrell. Sent that guy flying with that spoon move, and he saw all that space in the right side, nothing but green.
Flag at about the 27-yard line. And we'll see what this one is. Officials meeting up. And if this is against the Cardinals, it will negate the touchdown. 2:46 is frozen up on the clock. And the officials do call it on the cards. That's tough. It's going to cancel the Cardinal touchdown as we see another look at the replay.
Pretty high punt here.
We're going to move the Cardinals back as we take another look. It was at about the 27-yard line, so that's where you're going to want to try to keep your eyes on.
I didn't think it was that far down.
Yeah, it's saw nothing but green, able to run that one in.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, looked pretty clean. I mean, and once he broke the 40, it looked like there was no one in the area. So that's tough, but the Cardinals have had the adversity tonight as they'll have it now at about the 42-yard line. Still certainly in striking distance.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sullivan targeted Fordham still on this drive.
Yep, I think you're exactly right. I would not be surprised if the Cardinals try to dial one up to the senior.
Yeah, I mean, he's been an asset for them. I mean, he was at Grand Blanc last year, now he's here this year.
One of the 3 touchdowns in this first quarter for the Cards came right over top as Fordham just put the speed to the test, ran just a simple post route. Looking to throw, and he does connect with the senior with some space in front of him. Cardinal blockers give Fordham the first down as he's met at about the 36-yard line.
Yeah, and a pretty decent look there for Sullivan. He was able to get a pretty good gain off that.
Just trying to give the senior some space, and it moves the chains. 2:32 to play.
Yeah, and the Cardinals will take it right now. I mean, give him just more time to set up a touchdown play.
First and 10 at about the 31, and the clock now ticking at 2:20. Cardinals on their 4th possession tonight. They've scored on their first 3. Sullivan stepping up in the pocket, now scrambling to keep it himself. Shakes off a tackle, but he's wrapped up hard. And a towel goes flying there on the far sideline. I'm not sure what that was, but anything goes.
It's high school football, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Sullivan's not afraid to run the ball at all. I mean,
no.
Yeah, he's taking those defenders on like a champ.
Well, an athlete as well, basketball player that he'll play for Bobby Hatton in the winter, and it's good to see a quarterback that can lower his shoulder. I know that Bobby likes that so long he stays 100%. He can take some of that contact.
Yeah.
Second down at about 5. This time to give, I think it's Kreiderman.
That's Kreiderman.
That at the 25-yard line. He did get a few yards there, but nothing too much. It's going to bring up 3rd down, and Smith jogging back in.
Yeah, just wasn't able to overpower that Grand Ledge defender.
Tried to stretch it to the edge, but he just ran out of real estate. It's about 26-yard line for 3rd down and 5. 1:45 to play in the first quarter.
Cardinals are really good under pressure, though. I'm sure they'll be able to convert this.
Well, and I like their chances as well if it's in the air or on the ground here.
Yeah.
So they do give it to Smith up the nope, Sullivan keeps it. Looking over top, he's got Fordham, and Sullivan overthrew his senior receiver who had first down and more. That's going to bring up 4th and 5. Well, now a decision to make. This is, I think, certainly 4-down territory where your defense has been strong all night. If you don't convert here, the 26-yard line, not a terrible spot to put your defense. And I think the Cardinals are certainly going to go for this here, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, sure could just sail pass over to Terry or Fordham and get that first down right off the bat. Or maybe catch the defense off guard and run it up the middle.
They might try it. They might put it in Smith's hands here. And we've seen the Cardinals stump it off for a little screen as the Comets look to show 4 up front. Sullivan going to throw it on 4th and 5, running out of time. Rolling to his right, trying to keep it himself. Still on his feet. He's got the first down. Unbelievable.
He's just so good at finding space there. I mean, he looks one way, looks the other. He's able to find a hole right between those 2 guys.
Just continues to impress you. If you're watching on DTV, we can't blame you for staying in tonight, as the bleachers are packed with Cardinal fans. But this is a Davison team that you got to capitalize on and come out and see them in person at Cardinal Stadium if you can this year.
Yeah, rain or shine, cold or warm. I mean, they're such a fun team to watch.
The coldest game that the Cardinals have played in this season as kickoff temperature was at 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Week 6 has gotten here quickly.
It was
Where did summer go?
I mean, it was a bit rainy last week. We've been getting so much rain this week. They almost didn't play the Powder Puff game here because
That's
of
right.
the field conditions.
Well, it rained all day. Of course, this ball game comes into mind with that. Give off the edge, and it's to Luttrell. Meets contact at about the 15, still on his feet. Did he get into the end zone? He did. On a little give off of the edge, the senior now, this one will stand in the end zone for the second time tonight.
Just weaving his way through that Grand Ledge defense. I mean, he's been doing it. He's already got 2 touchdowns to his name.
Just a patient run for the senior, as you mentioned. Stayed on his feet, allowed his blockers in front of him to do the rest. And the Cardinals with their 4th touchdown in the first quarter, 46 ticks left up on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a great athlete, man. He's tall.
This is a Davison offense that, you know, it's just, if you blink, they've got 3-4 scores up on the scoreboard. It does not take long.
Yeah, I mean, they're already at 28, not even in the end of the first quarter.
Again, pressure off of the edge, but it's up and good. 28-7 our score as the Cardinals up in front and early against Grand Ledge in the two teams' first meeting ever in 2019 for homecoming. We're taking another look at the replay there, just no stopping them with the good blocking outside.
Yeah, I saw that guy weaved left and just ran right in with Unger.
Yeah, and you saw 16 Atwell, and he's the guy that hit Smith on the kickoff, the guy that keeps bringing the pressure off of the edge on the points after the touchdown, and then right there was in the mix of the play, but just overran Fordham, and the spin move kind of threw him in the cycle a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he might be a key player for the Grand Ledge defense.
46 seconds left in this opening quarter, and the Comets might just take this to quarter number 2. They keep the football on the ground and get that clock running. They had a quality response. It was 14-0, and they went over top. A 65-yard touchdown is the 7 points on your graphic at the bottom of the screen. And it just happened on one play, went over top, showed a little run fake, and the Cardinals bid on it.
Yeah, I mean, 21 unanswered points in the first quarter. It's what happens when you're playing the Cardinals.
Comets with DeWitt, Lansing, Everett, and Holt. A couple of good teams there to end the regular season. And the Cardinals, as we mentioned, of course, with De La Salle, Saginaw, Arthur Hill, and Lapeer for week 7, 8, 9. And we've got a flag on the opening kickoff. I think a Cardinal might have gotten an early start.
Maybe.
That's on the judge that's watching the Cardinals move there on the kickoff, and that's right at the 40. You don't often see a whistle right there, but you got to stay disciplined on that kickoff because this might move the Cards back to the 35.
Yeah, I mean, you got to just wait until the kick's off. You can't be so jumpy on that.
Have seen some Comet returns for decent gains, so you can't blame the urgency to try to get down the football field, but as you mentioned, Mason, got to do it cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, some pretty good returns right around the 20 and 30 area, so you got to watch out for them. Might not have the best regular teams, but their special teams have been doing pretty good. Their defense has been pretty close on some of those extra points, and they were able to get good gains every time on the kickoffs.
That's cool. You got that sign right there. It says class of 1969.
Yeah, so
that's what you can expect on homecoming week.
Yeah, I got all the alumni coming out.
Cardinal fans coming back to Cardinal Stadium to watch a special Davison team here in 2019. They've done their job against Grand Ledge in this opening quarter, but aside what we saw last week, I think we're going to have a full 4 quarters tonight. Kick dropped at about the 15-yard line. Trying to get a solid return out of it. Had some space, now still on his feet. Oh, quality return across the 30-yard line. That's Omar Loring.
I think it's 25.
Yeah, you saw that hole he found right there, just ran right through it and able to get like 5 or 6 more yards off of it. Some pretty good special teams by Grand Ledge.
And he got a solid return. We've been talking about this Grand Ledge team, because there's some question with the team we've never played before going, who are these guys? What type of season have they had? They started 2019 with back-to-back-to-back losses. And then actually the last 2 contests, one of them a really tight one. That was to end the 3-game skid, 35-34 over Lansing Waverly, who Flint has actually played this season. Keep up the middle. And it's the quarterback up the gut, Todd, who just kept it himself, lowered his shoulder. kind of sliced his way right into the gut of the Cardinal defense.
Yeah, and you were talking about the Comets season. They came off a big win against Okemos last week. Able to shut them out 24-0.
That was the first shutout for the Comet defense this year, and giving them some momentum, much-needed momentum on a homecoming matchup against the Cardinals at home. A Davison team that has generated nothing but positive noise in 2019 under Jake Weingartz in his second season.
Yeah, only expecting big things from here on out.
That's going to take us to our quarter break. At the end of one, the Cardinals in front, 28-7. And nothing but positivity for the Cardinals. They force a turnover and capitalize on it to put themselves in front by 3 scores.
Tough game, homecoming king and reality word crowd. Now, both of them have heavy ties to this game. TV sports director, familiar, he's our regular announcer for Davison football games. He's king, he's also the king of the football team.
Riley Wilson.
Powder Puff game, homecoming king, and Mr. Congeniality were crowned. Both ties in football games. Mr. Congeniality, sports director Riley Wilcox. Of the football team.
Back at Cardinal Stadium, as you saw on Wednesday night, Riley Wilcox won Mr. Congeniality, the Comets going deep. But Todd overthrowing on the high end as Hawkinson was in the area, the intended ball receiver there. Couldn't get it.
He had some high expectations there. Was not what he expected.
Just went over his head. And I think there for, Todd, you'd rather overthrow than underthrow in that situation. He had some pressure to deal with as well. But more on Wednesday night, Fordham winning homecoming king in 2019 as DTV's own Riley Wilcox winning Mr. Congeniality. And Mason had mentioned earlier in the broadcast that we've got the homecoming queen in Miss Congeniality coming up at halftime. So we're just underway in quarter number 2, 11:53 to play in the opening half. Cards in front, 28-7 our score. Third down coming up. Third and about 4 for Grand Ledge. High snap, look out in the backfield, and Todd, he's on it. And that's going to be a late flag, but I didn't hear a whistle.
Yeah, neither did I. It was a pretty big hit there after.
The officials there never blew the whistles as the ball was loose. I mean, Todd was on the ground for it, and the Cardinals did dive pretty low, but, I mean, you never heard a whistle there.
Yeah, I mean, they looked like they were just going for the ball. He was already on top of it. Right. Didn't realize it.
I mean, you don't know if that ball's still loose or what the officials had seen, so you're going to hear a whistle.
Yeah, pretty late call there.
Todd's a little shaken up, and you hope that he's okay as we're going to take another look. But you see in that pile on the ground that never heard anything from the officials on third down.
Yeah, real high snap there. Didn't quite get a grab on it. I think it might have been that big hit right there.
Yep.
Helmet's helmet right there. Yeah, that's not good for the Cardinals.
And so we'll see where this one ends up. The officials are going to walk this out. I don't think it's going to be enough for a first down. It won't.
Just barely.
Unless it's an automatic first down. But it's a 15-yarder.
Yeah, don't see those chains moving yet.
So the Comets still in possession, and they're going to have it. It was initially 3rd and 4. But now it looks to be 4th and very short, just about a yard to gain. And I think if you're Grand Ledge, you absolutely go for this here. You're down by 3 touchdowns in a ball game that you're just trying to find some momentum.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to find a handle on anything.
And I think that the Comets going to want to talk this one over as Joe Bry, he called timeout. I thought he signaled for one.
Heard some whistles there at the end.
Yeah. Official saying start that clock. 11:40 to play as it starts to roll on 4th and 1. Comets looking to the sideline for the play call. Cardinals waiting defensively. They've got 4 up front, or at least they're showing. 3 backers in the box, 2 over top.
Number 4 is the quarterback.
Yeah, Pasco could not look more ready.
I think going short here. Man in motion, and Todd gets it, but whistles, and the play is blown dead. And now the Comets call a timeout. Want to talk this one over on 4th and 1.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to risk losing this one here. It might be their only chance at getting some good momentum going up the field.
Big play in this first half coming up on 4th and short as the Cardinals lead it 28-7. All of those touchdowns coming in that first quarter. We take a look at the standings in the SVL Red Division this season, and there you see the two top teams nothing but miles apart from one another as the Cardinals will welcome the Lightning of Lapeer for Week 9. I mean, that's putting all the chips on the table. It's going to be senior night, last home regular season matchup before the playoffs start, and the Cardinals, they're going to remember last season where they went to Lapeer and only got 6 points up on the scoreboard and a loss to the Lightning, and that one hurt. I mean, as you mentioned, Mason, the Cardinals would go on to lose their final 3 of 4 of that 2018 season despite such a strong start in the first year of Coach Weingart's. A big win for the Cardinals on the road against Grand Blanc. That was really one of the high points of the season, but just didn't get the end to that year that they wanted. I think maybe a little bit of a revenge year this year for the Cards.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 4th and short after the timeout. Man in motion again. They give up the middle, and I think it's going to be enough for the first down. Officials say it is. Ball carrier was, I think, Buckland, as, again, never really heard any whistles.
Yeah, and you're talking about how they had that big away win against Grand Blanc, but that big away loss against Lapeer. But they had the home atmosphere against Grand Blanc, and absolutely killed them. And it's going to be the same with Lapeer. You never know. They have the home atmosphere. It's going to be senior night. They're going to be pumped up. They're going to want to win.
A lot of adrenaline in that one. You got to channel that the right way. Not let the emotions get the best of you. As the Cardinals in a tough environment last year. You remember, just windy, rainy in Lapeer, and it was a tough environment for the Cardinals that Lapeer was able to come out on top of. Davison looking to change that, 2019.
Yeah, the quarterback's back in.
10:57 and counting up on the scoreboard before halftime. 2 receivers to the left and right of Todd in the backfield. The man behind him gets the snap up the middle and across the 45-yard line for a short gain. Going to be 2nd down.
Looks like it was Pascal on that tackle, and I mean, he's not 5th in the state in linebackers for no reason.
Right.
I mean, big tackle there, he's showing off what he can do.
All over the place defensively for the Cards. He will play both ways, but mainly a defensive asset for the Cards on that end of the football. Davison started out the season with the 54-27 win over Fenton before going to Bay City Western, and they topped them 69-13. And then after that is when the shutouts would start. Carmen, Powers, Grand Blanc, all blanked by the Cardinals defense. Todd, a little broken play, I think, up the middle. I don't think he got anywhere on 2nd down and 9. Going to bring up 3rd down.
Another big hit there by Pascal. He's on it this game. He's involved with everything. He's making big tackles. Almost looks like he's just completely spying on the quarterback, making sure that he doesn't get anywhere. I'm not sure if that was a design play for the quarterback up the middle, but he looked to his left, and I think quickly saw no one was there and just kind of took it up the gut. Yeah, I mean, he's got some great awareness about what these offenses are trying to do. Able to piece them apart and take them out. So the Cards here on 3rd down and 8. They had the high snap on the 3rd down and long, but a 15-yard penalty made it 4th and 1. The Comets converted, but now another 3rd down spot. Todd looking to throw over top, got a wide open man caught at the 50, and it's Welch, the intended receiver. He comes down with the catch, and there was no one in the area, right in the flat on the near sideline, and the Comets again converting, seeing a much more solid drive out of Grand Ledge in the 2nd quarter. Yeah, I did not see that guy out wide. I mean, sailed it right over to him, and he was able to take some space and get a 1st down out of it, and that's just what this Grand Ledge offense needs to get some momentum going. Looking to the sideline for the play call as it's under 10 minutes now, approaching the 9-minute marker. Clock is stopped at 9:18. 1st and 10 as Grand Ledge now inside Cardinal territory. At the 37, man in motion. Todd looking to pitch it. He does lose football on the ground, picked up by the Cardinals, and look out. Down the sideline and nobody home. Gabe Smith going to
going to take this all the way to the house for a Cardinal touchdown.
The sophomore seeing that ball bobble out, and he's able to converge on it and able to run it down the line, get a touchdown for the Cardinals.
Boy, you've got to eat that pitch. As Todd tried it as he was getting wrapped up, and you saw the hard hit on the near sideline and the wherewithal by Gabe to just pick it up and run. 9:05 to play in the second quarter, and the Cardinal defense forcing another touchdown, or forcing another turnover, should say, the second tonight, and that one returned for a touchdown.
Did not see that one coming. Saw that big hit, but the ball just bobbled right out and he ran it in.
Cardinal extra point coming up as Hopkins going to line up. Cardinal fans on homecoming night have had a lot to be excited about in the first half. Snap a little high, kick is off, and it had enough to get across the crossbar. 35-7, the Cardinals now extending their lead. Second fumble forced tonight, and again off of the option. You've got to think that the Comets now, off of that pitch play, just might be thinking twice. As the quarter, you saw the contact wrapped up. Good on Blake Summers to get in there and force it, and then the convoy for Smith to take it to the house. Boy, that's got to be an exciting moment for just a sophomore.
I know. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this kid's in my class, and he's out here running touchdowns just like that. That's crazy.
That's the fun part about high school football.
Nothing like it.
Cardinals with a special team in 2019 as the defense forces another turnover in the first half. And it's a party for Cardinal fans tonight.
Yeah, AJ is living it up right now. Look at him go. He's still going.
Cardinals going to boot this one away and put their defense back out on the field. And on the Comets' perspective, really tough as it looked like they were putting together a quality drive, as I think that was the first time in Cardinal territory tonight. They had the 65-yard touchdown pass, but that was at their own 35. They unloaded for it. That's the first time that they were able to cross the 50.
Yeah, I mean, they had the fourth down conversion on this one. They had it going, and then just lost it right there.
Against Grand Blanc last week, who never crossed the 50-yard line. I think only got one first down in the first half against the Cardinals. Davison was stifling on defense.
Yeah, these stats sound like they're coming out of video games. It's unreal.
Right, pretty much. I mean, when you look at the stats for the Cardinals, they speak for them. There's no digging, really, that needs to be done. They pop right out off of the page at you at what Davison's done in this season. They've got their biggest test so far waiting next week. Taking care of business tonight, though, on homecoming night. Low kick, booted in the backfield. This one going to be scrambling. Did the Comets get on that? Unbelievable. It was a low liner at the 25 that was ricocheted back towards the Cardinals, and I think it just kind of caught the Davison kick team off guard that one was still alive.
I think it might have caught the Comets off guard, too. I mean, they didn't expect that Comet to take initiative, but he went down there, grabbed it, just hit it right off his pads, and
oh my goodness,
went up another 20 yards.
Well, a first half that continues to get more and more wild. 9 minutes flat up on the scoreboard in the second quarter. Well, that's a fun game.
Yeah, and it looks like it might be Comets ball.
Best starting point for Grand Ledge tonight. They've got it at the 49-yard line for the Cardinals.
Off of the botched kickoff, too.
We'll see if Davison's defense can stand up and answer the bell again. Man in motion as Todd fakes the give. This time he's going to eat the pitch. And I agree with that decision, as the last time it was picked up, taken to the house for Gabe Smith for a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good play here by the Cardinals. Wonder if this defense is going to be able to stop them again.
8:35 to play in this first half, and this is going to bring up second and about 12 for the Comets. Just a really good drive going on their last drive before the fumble.
I mean, they got some good position here. I wonder if they're going to make something out of this one.
Todd looking to throw to his left. Unloads over the middle, a little high, and Selby, I think, looking for a flag in the secondary. He had a man, but Todd had to get rid of it quick. I think normally you let Selby kind of get a little further downfield before you try for him, but good coverage up top.
Yeah, it looks like Flowers was able to get a hand on that, able to break it up. Some great defense by him. Great awareness, too, looking out for that pass, able to get his hand up in time.
So that's going to bring up third down and 12. Brendan Sullivan on the sideline with his helmet on at the Cardinals 35. Now talking to Jake Weingartz. He's set to go. He's going to have the football again in this first half. 3rd and 12. Looking over top. Caught at the 30-yard line, tackled by Fordham, but a big gain as it looks to be Jaden Michael who came down with it.
Yeah, the senior making a great catch there and able to get a couple extra yards after it.
Comets trying the cards in the air, and it's been paying off. The ground game has been nothing but problems tonight for Grand Ledge, but in the air, they've had success. That's going to move the chains for a first down.
Yeah, it looks like the defense are going to have to up the ante on their pass defense.
1st and 10 at the Cards 21 with 8 minutes to play in the second quarter. Comets trying a cold snap up front, and the Cards staying disciplined watching that football. Well, everybody in motion, and that's going to move Grand Ledge back 5.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't call a timeout. Talk that went over a sec.
Yeah, it looked like it took them a little bit, but...
17 is telling.
Yeah, it looked like there was some confusion there.
Yep.
Would have been a good call. And they called it last time they were even farther back trying to get some momentum going.
Boy, that's pretty cool. You've got Cannon Hall warming up, Brendan Sullivan on the sideline. Last year's quarterback with this year's quarterback, as Cannon certainly a special player for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and Sullivan already knew he was going to have to fill a big pair of shoes when Cannon Hall left.
Sharing some laughs with the starter last year and the backup last year, and now it's the Brendan Sullivan show. He certainly showed out in the first half, and now
yeah,
going to get back on the field.
It'll be the same in the winter, too, when basketball comes around.
Again, looking to throw over top. Got him in. Almost intercepted. It's caught for a touchdown. Selby, a miraculous grab as it should have been picked over top. But this will be the second passing touchdown for the Comets in the first half. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, Flowers had some good pass defense tonight, some good coverage, but he wasn't able to convert on that interception there. That's got to feel bad.
Was right there for the interception, had it in the basket, kind of just bobbled it, flipped it right in the end zone, and Selby waiting for it. Second touchdown tonight for the big receiver as that one landed in his lap, literally. And the Comets set to boot this one through the uprights. Wow. It's good. 35-14 our score, 7:20 to play in the second quarter as you caught a glimpse of the scoreboard there. That's incredible. We're taking another look. Whoops.
That's rough, yeah.
Got some good pressure up front, but a great throw, a little short, obviously, as Flowers, the sophomore, had it. You got to credit the senior receiver for staying with it. It landed, literally right in his hands.
Yeah, it looks like he just helped him out there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Boy, a tough sequence of events for the Cardinals. You go all the way back to the kickoff. That should have been Davison football, was booted right back up the middle on a low kick. A return man came up for the Comets, and it was a little short, and in stride just kicked it right back towards the Cardinals, and it rolled all the way to the 49-yard line. And Grand Ledge somehow hopped on the rock. And then right there you see the replay trying in the air. Should have been picked, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen competition like this since Fenton. So, wonder how the Cardinals are going to retaliate.
And so the Cardinal fans, you saw in the student section, have had plenty of reason to cheer tonight. We'll boot this one away. Smith waiting for it. He's in his own end zone. Another kind of bobbled return, but it went in the end zone, and the officials marked that one a touchback. And so the Cardinals are going to set up shop at their own 20. 1st and 10, 7:20 to play in the first half.
Looks like the Comets are going to be all over that one either way. It might have been good that it was a touchback.
So the Davison the last touchdown scored. Offense didn't even need to set foot on the field. And if you ask Brendan Sullivan, that's the best type of touchdown. And your defense can just go out there and get the job done for you, put some points up on the scoreboard. That's exactly what they did on the scoop and score from Gabe Smith, the sophomore. But now it's Brendan Sullivan being asked again to try to drive this football down the field. 80 yards, the distance they'll have to go. They give up the middle. And a lot of space off of the edge across the 30-yard line. And it looks to be, I think Kreiderman was the ball carrier there for the first down.
Yeah, and he got the speed there, and he had the stiff arm out ready to block some people off, but he just got too many Comets on him. He had like 3 on him there.
Really good blocking up front as well to get the junior past the secondary, and tried to stay patient, but Finally brought down. 1st and 10 again. Sullivan gives it off. Kreiderman, the ball carrier, makes a man miss across the 40-yard line. And fortunately for the Comets, was tripped up and was just shy of the down marker. Bring up 2nd and very short, maybe a yard. 6:45 to play.
Yeah, it looks like if he got his feet set a little better there, he might have been able to break that tackle and get a first down. But they're still pretty close, 2nd and 1.
Sullivan with some options in the backfield with them. They'll give it up the middle. Kreiderman staying with it, fighting for the first down. He's got it at about the 45 before the whistles finally blow the play dead.
I'm excited to see how Cardinals plays next year. I mean, he's going to have a year of varsity football under his belt, and he's already got some pretty good potential. He's a fast guy, and he's able to pretty much just body his way through the whole defensive line. So
well, and that was the mentality last year as well. You know, excited for a lot of things for this year that we've got in 2019. Sullivan, it's his show now, and certainly taking advantage. He's got one more year. Looking to throw to his left, dumps it off. And a little screen action as with space, it was Pasco rumbling across the 50. He got the first down. It was the 45 he had to break. He did.
Yeah, and he's performing on both sides of the ball. I mean, he's had a couple of good tackles tonight. Obviously catching some balls now.
That's, well, and you notice, you know, designed to put him out in space, and if a tackler does come up, it's more than likely going to be a one-on-one situation, and in those odds, you're going to trust Logan Pasco.
Yeah, he's always going to break those. He's a big guy. He's able to...
Sullivan slings it to Terry with some blockers up the middle, breaks it across the 25 before finally being wrapped up, and the Cardinals moving this ball right down the field.
Yeah, and he had some space there. He took it and able to move him up quite a good distance.
Well, I love that play call, too. Just a little play fake and then a quick design throw to find Terry on a little wide receiver screen, and had some blockers on the far edge. Got the first down and many more. 5:45 to play. Cardinals moving quickly as Sullivan scrambles to his left. Looking. And I think he's going to keep this one himself. Just steps out of bounds. The smart play, I don't think, gained anything there. He's going to bring up 2nd down.
Definitely didn't want to take that hit from that Comet right there.
Well, he just saw 4 in front of him, scanning and saw no receivers behind him. And fortunately, that play didn't result in a hit. He was able to just step out of bounds.
He has some pretty veteran knowledge for only starting this year at the quarterback position.
Well, that's the thing about last year, too, is that Sullivan did get reps his sophomore year, came into the ball game, and it's just like what we're seeing this year with a lot of the Cardinals' assets offensively and defensively have taken the second halves off, and that's allowed guys on the sideline to get in. That only can benefit you down the long stretch. Little reverse here, looking to throw as Pizzala dumps it back off, tipped in the air, and the Cardinals tried to go to the trickery.
Yeah, and I like the trick play, but just didn't execute there.
Well, and just well covered by Grand Ledge, too, as it looked like Sullivan was kind of scrambling out in the open, and Pizzala tried to dump it to him, and fortunately it fell to the grass incomplete. Keep it 3rd down. 9 yards to gain for the Cardinals, 5:32 left in the opening half. Sullivan going to give it up the middle. Smith with a lot of room past the down marker, crashes his way to the 10. And a big gain there on 3rd and 9. I think the Cardinals had about the 11, 1st and 10.
Yeah, exactly what they needed, just around the red zone.
So not quite 1st and goal. Yeah, that's right. I mean, on 3rd and 9, a passing drive that we've seen from Davison that started at their 20. You thought maybe again go in the air, but a wide open box that Smith was nice and comfortable with up the middle.
Yeah, it looks like they really caught them off guard.
Again on the ground, Caleb. Wrapped up before the 5-yard line, and the scoreboard is down, it looks to be.
Looks like the right one's
good,
The far
one's good. Yeah, that one's out of my range view, so I'll trust you on the time.
Yeah, I got about just under 5 minutes left in this one.
There you go. So 2nd down and about 7 coming up, maybe 6. With under 5 minutes to play, as Mason mentions. See what the Cardinals draw up here. Trying to get the final about 6-7 yards to the end zone. Sullivan gives it to Smith, trying him off of the edge. He's wrapped up.
Took up some grass in that one, brought down pretty hard.
That's going to bring up 3rd down, and the Cardinals still trying to find the end zone, but Mason a flag on the play there.
Yeah.
That's going to go against Davison.
The last thing they needed on this one.
Cardinals going to move it back as the down marker was 3rd down, but they switch it back to 2nd. So I think that they will keep it at 2nd down. Clock is frozen as now it's back up on the north sideline, or in the north end zone, should say, at 4:27.
Yeah, and you wonder how the Cardinals are going to reacts to this flag. Wonder how they're going to come out of it and get a touchdown out of this.
Holding on the Cardinals will move them back to about the 15, a little past that actually. Where they go almost all the way to the 20.
Yeah, just about.
Redo second down. They mark it 2nd and 16 to go.
Yeah, it looks like they might have to get this first in the air.
I think so. A lot of space here on the near sideline. Sullivan looking to go that way. Nope, goes to the far sideline. Double coverage. He's picked off. I don't know why that was blown dead as it went into the end zone. It was caught at about the 1. But that's the first time this season that Sullivan has been intercepted, and it happened on a goal line strike. The Cardinals trying to find the interception.
And it was a great interception, too. Really extended his arms, able to make that grab there and spin around, pull it in. I don't know why it was blown dead, though.
I've got interceptions on his stats as 1. I thought last week was none, but so that would make it the 2nd. But tough for the Cardinals as a rare interception that you see. Tried to throw it into double coverage, but they marked the Comets at the 20. I thought it was caught at about the 1 and then taken into the end zone. And even weirder was the play wasn't even whistle. I mean, that was weird. I mean, it just stopped. So I don't know what that was, but the Comets will have it. It's 4:15 to play. They scored on their last drive. Big hit up front as the Comets keep it on the ground and they give up the middle, but that'll bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, and these teams have only played each other. This is the first time. It seems like they're already picking each other apart pretty well, though. Davison's stopping that run game, and Comets are doing the same thing on the passing end.
Well, a team that you've never faced before can bring some challenges, and that really the biggest thing. You ever face this opponent that you've never seen, can't go back to use it.
Yeah, I mean,
off of any previous experience, precedence against a team that you faced before. It's never happened. 2nd and 9. Quarterback looking to throw, goes to the far sideline, got a man. Selby was there. They tried the size matchup. They liked the senior receiver over Flowers, but overthrown as Todd couldn't connect with the big forward.
Yeah, I mean, Flowers broke up a pass or two earlier in the game, so they know what he can do, and they're trying to get it out of his reach.
And that touchdown recently by the Comets. You got good pressure from the Cardinals as Todd was hit as he was throwing, and it was a little short. Flowers, just a sophomore, as you mentioned, was there. Right in his arms, couldn't hang on to it, though, and it just kind of flipped behind him. And Selby was still running his post route in the end zone, landed right in his hands, and just kind of reacted basically how everybody else did. And I can't believe that moment. The Comets with their 2nd touchdown, looking to tack it on. The Cardinal defense trying to stop that. Todd looking to throw with pressure and just throws it into the turf, or into the grass.
Yeah, not turf yet.
Yep, that'll bring up 4th down. 3:32 to play in the 2nd quarter, and the Comets bringing the punt team out. We've got halftime coming up.
Yeah, I wasn't even able to look at his options there. Just had to throw it away right off the bat.
We will have the homecoming queen crowned at halftime, as will Miss Congeniality, and that coming up in just a few moments with 3:32 to play. Cardinals in front, 35-14 our score. Davison offense going to get another shot here in this first half. I think Sullivan going to be eager to get back out in the field. High kick in the air. And this one's going to break the 50. Fordham going back for it. Had it for a moment, but lost it at about the 35. Now puts a return on across the 50-yard line, spinning out of a tackle, still on his feet at the 48-yard line, and a flag flies back at the 40, way away from the pile. And just an official just kind of tossed it in the air.
Yeah, as Charles was getting brought down.
Luke Milenich was in the area, but it didn't look like when the flag flew he was near anyone.
Yeah, I wonder what it's going to be.
I know who it was because he was walking over the
That's going to be on the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, Charles was able to make something out of that punt, but obviously it doesn't matter now because of that flag.
Penalties have just been crucial to Davison in this first half. It's on that first drive that gave them that fresh set of downs on a 3rd and 21 where Sullivan kept it. And with his yards that he gained there and the 15 yards, it helped them get the first down, ultimately led to a touchdown. But right there, it hurts them, and it's going to move them back even further.
Yeah, it's helping them and hurting them.
See how Sullivan responds after throwing a pick as the Cardinals were knocking on the door on the last drive. Were unable to get in on the interception. Lopsided numbers for Sullivan that largely outnumber the touchdowns that he's thrown. compared to the interceptions, but we do see one there for the junior. See how he responds.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to do.
Davison's got it at about the 43-yard line, or it should be 38-yard line. Caleb Smith off the edge, bowling over defenders, crosses the 48-yard line. He's got the first down. We see him breaking the line to gain to move the chains.
Yeah, diving right over, reaching the ball, able to get the first down there. And his power through all those Comet defenders. He had one on his tail and one wrapped around him, but he still reached over and got the down.
So the clock stops to move the chains and continues as soon as the officials signal to do so. Again, the give to Smith in the secondary. Takes it to about the 42-yard line. Tight to the line of game, but I don't think he got it. Going to be a few yards short to bring up second down. 2:50 to play as the Cardinals continue to work. They've got plenty of time, Mason.
Yeah, I mean...
But still needs emergency.
Yeah, I mean, most likely just going to hand it off to Caleb Smith. He's going to be able to run it up the middle because he's been pretty successful in breaking through that line this game.
Well, and that's what they might do is just run, continue to prime up the Comet defense, and then a little play fake, go over top. That's what we have seen earlier in this ball game. Sullivan with two out wide to his right, looking to throw that way. He's going to load up, dumps it short, though, and it's caught. Going to be plenty for a first down, as I think it's Pasco who caught it.
Yeah, and I mean, they thought it was going to go to Smith because, I mean, he marched him down the field this game a couple times, so they were expecting it to go to him, but he tossed it right over, like play fake, like you said.
Well, so Sullivan does check down, but it's still enough for a first down as it was only 2nd and 1. And so you like that there on second down. Even if you couldn't convert, would be 3rd and short, but they do there to move it to the 31-yard line, 2:05 to play.
Yeah, and they're definitely in scoring territory.
Comets with a touchdown in that first quarter, one here in the second. They've been trying to keep up. Little opposite misdirection as Smith has it across the 25-yard line, and the pile going to push him past the line to gain. Officials going to down him at about the 19 for a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, and Davison will take that. I mean, just better positioning for them. Most likely going to score off this drive.
Ball game that started at 50 degrees, and it's just got an extra bite in the air as we had summer temperatures leading up to tonight. You know, of course, had the rain on Wednesday, and it's kind of been chillier, but it's come quick.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 80 on Monday and Tuesday, and now it's this cold.
Sullivan throws high. Fordham caught it. He's got some blockers in front of him. Takes it to the 5. Feet still pumping. Did he get across the line? And the official on the near sideline says down at the 1. 1:28 to play, and an 18-yard gain for Fordham as he tried to get across, and now down on his back at the goal line.
Getting helped up here. Took a big hit there.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Well, we'll see what we've got here as the Cardinals medical staff will head out onto the field, and the clock is frozen at 1:28 as Fordham had a good return. Weingart's with the headset off, out there talking to his senior who scored twice tonight.
And this is the last thing that homecoming king wants in his senior season.
Right. Well, he won't be out at halftime.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably just going to have to take the rest of this game to rest up.
He's putting pressure on both legs.
Looks like it might be
not a lot on the right one, though.
Yeah.
He's able to, with help of Pasco, get off of the field.
With some deserved applause from the Cardinal fans. I mean, he's done nothing but perform for them this season.
And that's Kyle Hall with him as well. Talking to Pizzala.
And that's the last thing you want to see happen to one of your best receivers.
Well, so the senior is out, and the Cardinals have it first and goal at the 1. We'll see if they can punch it in this time. They do give it to Smith, and he walks across the end zone for another Cardinal touchdown with 1:18 to play before halftime. The Cardinals this time punch it in, and a strong response for Sullivan on the last drive was picked off at the goal line. Not the case this time. 41-14 now pending the extra point.
I mean, that's basically a gimme there. He's not going to throw it. He's obviously going to hand it off, and Smith did just what he needed to do.
And so tough there for Fordham, as it was a great gain, 18 yards, and you really got to love the aggression as he continued to pump his legs to the goal line, but a pile that everybody went down hard at the 1, and unfortunately Fordham falling victim to what looked like a right ankle, right leg for sure, though. Kick is up and on its way, and I think Yep, it's in. For some reason it looked like he pushed it, but got it through the uprights, and Hopkins has been perfect all night. And so the Comets going to have to come out onto the field. They've got 1:18 left before halftime. And you wonder, Mason, if they will just try to take this clock out. But there you see the impact of that injury. That's Fordham atop of the SVL with the touchdown category. And standing alone with the 60 points that he's scored. And there you see Dave Hopkins, the kicker for the Cardinals. Plenty of opportunity to score the points.
30 extra points. That's just unbelievable.
Harrison Terry on the ground as well.
Yeah, I mean, SVL, the top 5 scorers, it's just all Cardinals, I mean.
Yeah, and that is the top 5. That's not just Davison players. That is ranking number 1 through 5 as you see the Cardinal offense recapping their drive. They've been strong tonight. Only one time they failed to convert offensively, and that was the Sullivan interception here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and I don't even think he saw that one coming there.
You know, a quarterback that's going to demand success out of him, the junior, but you really can't hang your hat on that. You're up 42-14 with halftime coming up for the Davison defense. I think some things to tighten down as, you know, you look at both of the touchdowns, really, it's been the secondary that has allowed Selby behind them to get over top. The second one, even more so, should have been an interception, but it was what it was. Here's a low kick. Between the legs, loose on the ground. Did the Cardinals get on it? They did.
And it's Smith again.
Who else but Gabe Smith as he gets on the football, his second recover tonight. Unbelievable as the sophomore again, Mason, comes through.
Just showing out for the fans tonight. I mean, putting on a great show. He had that fumble return off that one, and then another recovery there.
Saw him before the game, and I said, I graduated with his brother Ellis. I said, hey, enjoy this tonight, man. Sometimes you get caught up in this, and you forget to enjoy the homecomings as you see Fordham going through the tunnel.
Yeah, can't walk on that right ankle.
No. Helmet's popped, and he's going to head to the locker room early. As the Cardinal offense on a low kick, the Comets had the opportunity to hop on it, but it just split in between the legs of a return man for Grand Ledge, right around the second layer of the return team. And you got to like the Cardinals getting downfield and getting on that football. Sullivan's got it at the 30. Looking to throw, and they might try to strike quick. In the air, high throw, intercepted again. The second time this half that the junior quarterback has been picked off. He threw it high right into the Grand Ledge secondary. I think the intended receiver was Pizzala.
Yeah, tossed that one into no man's land.
He couldn't do anything with that throw.
Yeah, might have been some miscommunication there on the routes being run.
And after the kick recovered by Smith, it's the second interception, and the Cardinals give it right back to the Comets. Just not what you wanted there on that first play. You liked the drive, but it looked like Grand Ledge all over that. The secondary ready for the Cardinals to take a strike on first down.
You know, I think this game's been a lot closer than most fans have expected.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, you had to, earlier on our point, a team that you've never seen before, these things can happen where it's just, you know, the variables that you can't quite account for.
Yeah, it should make for an interesting second half.
1:03 up on the clock. And the offense for Grand Ledge back on the field. They try to keep it on the ground. Cardinal defense is there strong as we're inside a minute. Going to be 2nd and 10 with halftime coming up. Homecoming queen will be crowned as well as Miss Congeniality. And we'll have it for you right here on DTV.
Yeah, excited to see who it's going to be.
Homecoming week that has led up to this matchup against Grand Ledge. Some pressure coming in for the Cardinals, and Todd goes down at the 5. I think the Cardinals might want to use maybe a timeout here. Nope, the clock will run. I mean, it would be 3rd and very long, and maybe a chance to put yourself back out there, but just says, nope, let's just take this one to the locker room. Unless the Comets elect to use one more play, I think they will, or at least might have to with what the down marker will be, or at least what the...
Yeah, you wonder if the defense will be able to push him back, maybe get a safety out of this.
Well, this is 3rd and 17, and I think the Cardinals will be bringing the house, or at least the pressure, but you see the Comets waiting for it as we're now down to 5 seconds. And this will take us to the locker rooms.
Yeah. Well,
42-14, the Cardinals, not the tightest half, but still in front, as you see, but heading to the locker room with some adjustments to make maybe, as we'll have the second half coming your way. But we will send it down to Jillian Tate.
this game, Homecoming King and Mr. Congeniality were crowned, and both have ties to this game. Mr. Congeniality is DTV Sports Director Riley Wilcox, and if that name sounds familiar, he's who usually announces our football games. Homecoming King is Latrell Fordham, and he's not just Homecoming King, he's also king of the football team.
Drum majors for the marching band are Lily Hathaway, Bailey Shelburne, and Lucas Stone. Seasonal support staff includes Savannah Kent, Alicia Smith, and Charlie Church. Marching band directors are Mr. Jim Bronson and Mr. James C. Schuster. We hope you enjoy tonight's performance as the marching band performs Invincible. Drum major, is your band ready? Then it's our pleasure to present the 2019 Davison Cardinal Marching Band. this time, please direct your attention to the football field. We would like to introduce the 2019 homecoming underclassmen court and Queens candidates. The freshman class prince is Mr. Carter Warner. And the freshman class princess is Miss Evelyn Marshall. The sophomore class prince is Mr. Diego Gomez. The sophomore class princess is Miss Nadia Owens. The junior class prince is Mr. Emerson Hubble. And the junior class princess is Miss Mia Vicardi. Please give a round of applause for our underclassmen court. Joining our underclassmen court is our 2019 senior queen candidates. Our first queen candidate is Miss Casey Eller. Casey is accompanied by her parents, John and Diana Eller. Our second queen candidate is Miss Rebecca Allen. Rebecca is joined by her parents, David and Sarah Allen. Our third queen candidate is Miss Tia France. She is accompanied by her parents, Scott and Alyssa France. The fourth queen candidate is Miss Taylor Lennox. Taylor is escorted by her father, Bill, and her mother, Sarah Lennox. The fifth queen candidate is Miss Grace White. Grace is accompanied by her parents, Derek and Sarah White. At this time, please welcome back the 2018 homecoming queen, Hannah Fielder. Hannah will have the honor in crowning this year's winners. The 2019 Miss Congeniality is Miss Rebecca Allen. May we have a drum roll. The 2019 homecoming queen is Miss Tia France. Congratulations to Tia, Rebecca, and the entire Queen's Court. again, ladies and gentlemen, your Davison Cardinals marching band.
I'm here with Tia France, our new homecoming queen. Tell me, what does this mean to you?
It means a lot. I'm very grateful for everyone who voted, and I'm just very thankful to be in this situation.
And can I ask, like, how are you feeling right now? Like, how would you describe it?
I'm surprised and happy at the same time. I mean, it's just a shocker, but I'm really happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tia, and congratulations.
Back at Cardinal Stadium as we're just about set to start the second half. Chris Jarrett and Mason Palmentier rejoining you from Davison, Michigan, Homecoming 2019. As we had our homecoming queen and Miss Congeniality announced, and really some good stuff, Mason, as it was a long-awaited decision, but another DTV shout-out that we got there.
Yeah, Rebecca Allen pulling out Miss Congeniality.
With Riley Wilcox, who won Mr. Congeniality, so that's pretty cool. And then Tia France named the homecoming queen in 2019. Great stuff as homecoming week has lived up to the excitement in 2019 for the Cardinals. A ball game, despite being cold, that fans were at least able to sit in this game where it's just been rain or just one factor or another that tried to keep Cardinal fans away for the past couple of years. But in 2019, just a little bit cold temperatures, but fans bundling up for this game on October 4th as we see the Cardinals back out onto the field. Likely some adjustments that they made in the locker room, Mason, as we see the 2 touchdowns for the Comets, and touchdowns that maybe could have been avoided. But there's the matchup that we're going to have in Week 9. We look at the stats right now for both teams, and really few separation. I mean, you look at the rushing yards for the Lightning, they will pound it on the ground, and a team that, despite only a lot, you see how many they've allowed, but the Cardinals scoring more points far and away, but the yards total favoring the Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, top 2 defensive teams in the SVL. They aren't a joke, man.
Right. Cardinals coming in tonight with almost 270 points that they've scored, and the Lightning at 182.
Yeah.
But there you see the points allowed. Even with the Cardinals coming in tonight, back-to-back-to-back shutouts, the Lightning still with only 31 allowed. Now, 27 of those 40 came against Fenton in Week 1. So if you really want to look at it and splice it up, only 13 points allowed for the Cardinals, since Week 1. So it's been stifling defenses both ways. It's really not to take away from one unit or another.
Yeah, there's Sullivan that was just there. Coming off 2 interceptions in that first half.
That's tough.
Not ideal, but I mean, he's putting points on the board still. So
our stats showing 1 pick tonight coming into this ball game, and he threw 2, both in the second quarter. And the second one was right off of a kick that was recovered by the Cardinals. It was designed to be a low little dribbler that I think the Comets were just going to fall on top of, but it actually split a return man's legs and was alive at about the 35-yard line, where Gabe Smith hopped on his second fumble recovered tonight. But Davison, even with the field position, unable to capitalize with it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be able to get another touchdown in this quarter, and if they can hold Grand Ledge to those 14 points and bring it all the way to the end of the quarter, it'll be a running clock in the 4th.
That's right. Well, and more on that point, Davison's defense will start the 3rd quarter as Grand Ledge won the toss. They deferred it to the second half. So they will have it. Davison with the 14 points allowed, a touchdown in the first quarter, 1 in the second. The big story tonight, I think aside from Sullivan's 2 interceptions, the Cardinals still with a 28-point cushion, but it's been the absence of Latrell Fordham as he had to leave the ball game in the second quarter, had an 18-yard catch and run where he was wrapped up at the 1-yard line in a big pile where he came out of on his back and stood up, tried to walk off the field and fell right back down to the grass, was helped off of the field, really looked like he was putting some low pressure on that foot. And it's just now at this point, you're just wondering, what the final verdict is going to be really.
Yeah, they're not really concerned about this game now. They're just concerned about how he's going to be for the future.
Another low kick, and this one is going to be hopped on top of at the 25-yard line. So the Cardinals only using 3 seconds there on the kick to start the third quarter, and the Davison defense out back on the field. And for the most part, they've done a good job of capping this Grand Ledge offense.
Yeah, maybe not an ideal kick for them. Looks like they want to maybe burn a little more time off, but I'll take that. And not the best field position, not the worst.
Right.
Cardinals could probably pull out a stop here.
Well, Mason, I think Davison in a good spot here. You've got some things defensively that you'd like to tighten up, specifically in the secondary, trying to stay on top and prioritize Carter Selby, the senior receiver that's been doing most of the damage through the air.
Yeah, makes a pretty big place for them.
Comets looking to pass on first down. They do, and it's Selby. Was it picked off? It was. Flowers had it in his hands, and I think he picked it.
Yeah, wrapped it up after that missed one in the first half.
Still awaiting a call from the officials as Selby is down. He was immediately met by 2 Cardinals, and it looked like, I never saw a football on the ground as Flowers went in there. And he dropped an interception earlier in the first half that actually resulted in a touchdown. Now we see the officials meeting there, and yeah, what do you see there, Mason?
Yeah, we see Latrell coming back out. Looks like he's putting a little bit more pressure on that foot. Might be good for next week, but this game looks like he's going to be resting.
Yeah. And so they do mark it an interception as the Cardinals, it's Flowers that had it, and you go back to look at the interception that he dropped was right in his hands.
Yes.
And that one right there, a tough one, he was able to get it.
Same exact matchup, too, with that senior receiver.
Good for Flowers to had the space in front of him. He eliminated it quickly, closed right in on the senior who is being helped off the field on the far sideline. And both teams now having to lose their top receivers as Selby has been the man to score both touchdowns tonight.
Some redemption there for Flowers, though, after that dropped interception in the first half.
And so Fordham done for the night, and that's the big story as he is the leading scorer in the Saginaw Valley Red Division. He's got a sweatshirt now under the jersey and allowing his Cardinal offense to do the job. It's flipped off to Harrison Terry. He's got it up the middle across the 20-yard line. Flags fly everywhere in the secondary as Terry was able to maneuver his way to about the 15, 14-yard line. But let's see what the flags have here. One came from all the way on the opposite pylon.
It must have been pretty obvious there.
So they spotted something. You'd think holding, but we will see.
Yeah, that blocking might have been a little bit too good.
Pizzala talking with the officials. That's Peyton Pizzala.
Bring a pass go on for this next drive.
Still no call from the officials. Now we do see another one there.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's going to go on, I think, 2 flags there that both went on the Cardinals.
Looks like it. Waited for the Cardinals both times. That's going to be rough. It's not the greatest field position for them after being right up in the
and so
territory.
Sorry, Mason. I think it's an illegal man-down field for Davison. And then I also saw the pass interference on the Cardinals. So a couple of penalties that's going to hurt the Cards. We're still waiting for the officials. Okay, nope, now we're seeing the officials signal towards, they signaled towards Grand Ledge. Now they're signaling towards the Cardinals.
Yeah, some confusion there with the
Let's just sit back and see what we end up with. How's that?
Yeah.
As the officials try to get on the same page with each other. The Cardinal huddle is kind of anticipating a penalty as they're back out around the 35-yard line. There's the call, declined. Will be offensive pass interference. That's the penalty that's accepted. And we'll move the Cards back.
Still 1st and 10. Only 20 seconds burned off the clock.
Right. I think maybe 5 minutes of real time has transpired here, but As Mason points out, only 20 seconds have ticked off the clock. So it'll be first and very long. Scoreboard shows 25 for Davison at the 35-yard line to start the third quarter. Give up the middle, and I think Kreiderman stumbled up, couldn't get to the 30. It's going to bring up second down.
Yeah, and I mean, had a pretty solid first half, had a couple hands.
He did.
A couple plays on the ball, able to move him up a little bit right there. Not the most, but able to give him something.
And we see, or I should say we saw, Unger check in for the moment, but came back to the sideline. Smith in, and he's the receiver out far now. So Davison, in the absence of Fordham, you wonder what they do, shaking it up as you see Caleb Smith way out to the left. And he's looking a little post route. Sullivan trying to find him. Nope. Checking down to the 15. Caught by Flowers. Makes a man miss into the end zone for a touchdown. The sophomore strikes again, the first time tonight. And with 10:56 to play.
Yeah, Flowers, such an amazing player on both sides of the ball. Some great pass defense, and then he's able to get a big touchdown there. Kind of a small guy, but able to make some good plays.
He caused the interception. Came up with the turnover after the officials met and ruled it a pick. And now in the air, caught it at about the 15-yard line and was able to do the rest himself. Good connection by Sullivan. He had 2 interceptions, Mason, in the first half, and that's a good way to turn things around.
Yeah, good start. Hopefully they can carry some of that momentum on.
So the Cardinals now knocking on the door of a running clock. 49-14 make it. 10:56 to play in the third quarter, and the Cardinals with a strike in the air. Sullivan connects with his sophomore receiver, Flowers, who was able to run it into the end zone for the score.
Yeah, we're going to have another look at that play.
You were looking for, I think the Comets were kind of targeting Smith over top, but great blocking, patience, and a great ball.
A missed tackle there, too.
Yeah, that was Atwell who was in the mix. And you like the speed and the footwork from Flowers to make a miss. Threw him off balance and was able to just slip right past him into the end zone.
Yeah, able to fake him out, force that missed tackle and run it in.
A little shiver out of you, Mason. Are you cold there?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's cold tonight. It just keeps, the year just keeps on ticking on as we're now in the month of October. Cardinal students not minding the weather at all. They come out in droves tonight on homecoming night. Of course, they'll have the dance tomorrow that everybody looking forward to. And the Cardinal fans have had plenty to be excited about tonight.
Yeah, it should be a fun time.
Here's Hopkins set to boot this one away.
7 extra points this game for 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. We saw him miss one last time. Again, keeps it low, but this time it's picked up at the 35. Hard hit at the 40, and Gabe Smith coming in off the edge and putting a quick end to that kick return as the man returning, it was Jaden Michael, was kind of just flat-footed there, and Smith came in and quickly capped it.
Yeah, and the Cards are giving some pretty short kicks, but they're not giving the Comets any wiggle room. They're just laying them out left and right.
And there you see Mark Smith in the crowd. He was holding up the Gabe Smith cutout. His dad has had plenty to watch and be excited about tonight. His family as well, looks like, in the house. Lots of Cardinals with their families in the house tonight on homecoming night.
Yeah.
First and 10, Grand Ledge will have it at the 39. 10 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Clock continues to melt down.
Davison now up by 35.
Logan Todd, the junior quarterback in the backfield, and he's faced a lot of pressure tonight from the Cardinals. Man in motion. They'll give it up the middle. I thought that Todd kept it. Thankfully, he didn't.
Yeah, it's not worked out for them there. The run game has not been that strong by Grand Ledge tonight.
No, it's both touchdowns have been in the air, and they've both been to Carter Selby, the senior receiver, who you look down on the field and you don't see him.
Yeah.
So you see 7 up top. It's Jonah Lyon, another senior receiver for these Comets, but it's been Selby, who's on the sideline right at about the 40-yard line, standing with his hands on his hips, and he's been the big target for the junior quarterback and Logan Todd for the Comets tonight. And we saw after the interception being helped off of the field, might be done for the evening.
Yeah, just like Latrell.
Tight formation, looking to the right, trying the sideline in the air. And you got to really tip your cap to the effort as Hawkinson couldn't haul it in. Had a great effort, hit him right in the hands on the diving air assault from Todd, the quarterback. Couldn't connect, though.
Yeah, stretched out for just wasn't able to make a grab there. Just barely out of his fingertips.
Really good throw from Todd. I mean, put it right where it needed to be, maybe a little long, but you've got that defender that's right on the hip of Hawkinson. You got to put it kind of out in front.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so that's going to bring up 3rd down and 9, 8:41 to play. Clock continuing to roll as the Cards are in front big by 35.
I mean, with these teams' top receivers out, it's going to be a rough passing game, or passing from here on out.
Comets again looking to throw a little screen over the middle, and it's dropped incomplete. You know, you pull the lineman there trying to swing something to the right, and Todd quickly ran out of room. You saw the Cardinals closing in on him. Had to get rid of it and just overthrew Zach Borgman, the junior running back. That's going to bring up 4th and 9.
Yeah, really just not giving him any time to think. He doesn't have much time to look at his options. He just has to give it away most of the time.
Cardinal defense now has forced 3 turnovers tonight. Twice the Comets put it on the ground. And the previous drive for Grand Ledge, Gabe Smith, the sophomore, able to bring the pressure and intercepted by Flowers, also a sophomore as well. This one a low boot, and it looks to be Smith that's just going to let this one take its course past the 20. And going to be spotted at about the 18-yard line. No return there for a dangerous return man. He's had a couple times, Mason, where they've bobbled in and out of his hands. We've seen that really from both teams, if we're being fair.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty shocking at the beginning of the game when he just bobbled that one. Really set them up for bad position.
So the Cardinals in front big, 7:25, and the clock continuing to tick as it will continue to move on homecoming night. Now you see a good opportunity for Davison to open things up maybe to the guys that, you know, the second strings or the third string or different units that can get into the ball game. But, you know, you still see in the huddle there Smith, Sullivan, your normal ones.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And so Davison will have it at the 18.
Yeah, they got Sullivan out there. They got Terry, Flowers, and then Smith lined up on the near side.
They got the ones out. 6:45 on the clock as the Cardinals will have it. Little short pass to Smith and a one-on-one. Just kind of runs a curl. And he's going to take the football to the 30-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. Just that's a matchup to watch, as you've got Caleb Smith normally in the backfield, but now it allows the opportunity, Mason, for Carter Kreiderman to be right next to Sullivan, just as much of a trusted running back for the Cardinals. But now you've got a guy like Caleb Smith out catching passes, and I can promise you the Comets did not plan for having someone of his size and speed out that wide.
Yeah, I mean, he was just dragging that one man with him, able to get that extra couple yards.
You don't want to let him behind you, but if you keep him in front of you and he catches it, it's just as dangerous. Sullivan looking to throw. He keeps it himself. Hit hard at the 30.
Brought down right around the line of scrimmage there.
That's, again, you know, you're rolling outside of the pocket. Could just send that one into the sidelines, but Sullivan, a guy that wants to keep it himself and try to create plays. That we've seen that this season, but he got some pretty hard contact there up front. No gain. Bring it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, like you were saying about Kardinals and Sullivan earlier. I'm excited to see how they play next season. I mean, they're in the same grade. They're friends. Going to be a dynamic duo going into the next season.
Well, I mean, and then you've got Brendan Sullivan as well back. Just a junior. That's what a lot of people forget, as he just earns his Mr. Football nomination in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, he's 3rd in the voting right now, I believe.
Certainly deserving of it. Smith out to the left of Sullivan. He's got 2 receivers split out to his right. He'll give it up the middle, and it is Carter. Shakes a tackle, still on his feet on the far sideline across midfield, and going to take the pile to about the 45, maybe 46-yard line.
Just couldn't get brought down on that one. He's got the speed and he's got the size. He's just breaking tackles left and right. Can't leave those chains.
Despite the first down, despite running out of bounds, the clock will continue to run.
Because of that 35-point lead.
That's right. And the Cardinals will continue to just march the ball downfield. That's exactly how they want it. Give us the football and have that clock be running. And in a night that you've already seen your top receiver and your top offensive weapon, arguably, in Latrell Fordham go down, it's a tough blow.
Yeah, you don't want to see anything else like that happen. You want to take it easy.
Jerry split out with Smith kind of in the slot formation, and we're going to see a timeout from the Cardinals, their first of the night. And you look like maybe sensing some frustration from the Davison side.
Yeah, Weingart's not happy about that. some miscommunication maybe in the offense about what they're trying to run there.
Talking with Pasco as the Cards try to get on the same page. 4:25 and the clock, despite the running clock, it will stop for a timeout.
Yeah.
And the two teams going to talk some things over here on homecoming night, where the Cardinals piling on the points in the first half, despite the two passing interceptions from Brendan Sullivan. Maybe just wanting to try to get, maybe that takes some pressure off of the junior quarterback. You get some interceptions, are still out in front, and still a learning moment despite being up by 35 points.
Yeah, I mean, the best you can take from those is just learn how to get better from it, and he's definitely going to take that into later this season, probably next season too, some of this knowledge he's learning right now.
His first full year of having it be his offense, of course last year with Cannon Hall, much accomplished Flint area player with the Cardinals. And then Davison, a great regular season that was ended on a sour note in Lapeer, and then with the loss in the first round, just didn't end the way that they had hoped. Sullivan looking to throw. He does dump it off, this time to Pasco. Lowers his shoulder, and two Comets have to bring him down at about the 36, maybe 37.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to take on that pressure. He's a big guy. Definitely able to break through them.
He's going to make it second down at about 4 with 4 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Yeah, and you wonder how they're going to pull out some stops here. Maybe get another score.
Cardinal fans were out early today with the homecoming parade. Even some tailgating going on that you had seen, of course, with the parade makes it easy. Fans piling up right in front of the high school to catch the beginning of the parade, and then can filter right into Cardinal Stadium. Give on the far edge as Sullivan hands it off. Ball carrier is Kreiderman.
Flag on the play.
Flag does fall, and the ball carrier, Kreiderman, spun around and drops at about the 35, but did have some forward progress that took him to the 34. Let's see where the flag moves us.
Yeah, some great runs here by Cardinals. I mean, he's able to work through some of these guys pretty well. Just too much there for him, though.
This will move the Cardinals back. Sullivan jogging to the sideline, talking with Jake Weingartz, Cardinal head coach in his second year, coming in tonight with a 12-3 record.
Yeah, and 2 years, 2 quarterbacks. Got to be kind of a rocky road for Weingartz, but he's pulled through. I mean, undefeated starter, 6-0 last year, and looks like they might pull that out tonight, too.
Well, and a great quarterback in Cannon Hall for Jake to take the reins in. I remember talking to him before the season last year, and Mason, he was just like, what a guy to come in and have a program that you take over in Cannon Hall. It really makes things easy, like a dual threat quarterback. As here we see Terry with it on the near sideline across the 30, edged out right in front of the 20-yard line, and a big play for the Cardinals that will result in about a 26-yard gain. Yeah, Terry we've seen in space tonight, Mason.
Absolutely, and I mean, he was a big factor in that Grand Blanc game, too, since they were doubling up on Luttrell. Had to really step up and make some plays for the Cardinals.
Terry, just another weapon offensively for the Cardinals that they have to boast. You know, even in a night where they say, we will take out Luttrell for the night, we've still got Smith, and we've still got Terry, we've still got Sullivan that can move the ball himself, Kreiderman, Pasco, all these guys, and that's just scratching the surface offensively.
Yeah, speaking of Kreiderman, able to make a pretty good gain on there.
Leaps across the 15, and he's going to be tackled at about the 12. That's going to bring up... It's right there. If they got a first down, they do, and the chains will move. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line, so not quite 1st and goal.
Yeah, clock's winding down, 2:20 left. Wonder if they're going to be able to get a score off for the half ends, or quarter ends. My bad.
2 possessions for both teams in this quarter. The first one for Grand Ledge, they had the football to start the half. They threw an interception that was picked off by Flowers. Smith, the man in motion, kind of stumbles. Loose football. Sullivan on a broken play. He slips. And just a wild play on first down as the scoreboard goes dark on the north side. Still up on the south side, though.
Yeah, all that rain, man. Getting the past 2 days.
Let's
not helping the field out at all.
Move on from that play there, as it'll bring up second down. And the Cardinals lose about 5 or 6 there or so on that play.
You can see some pretty rough spots on here, too. Looks like they might have done that on accident during Powder Puff. Still was a pretty thrilling game for Powder Puff.
5-8-0-5-8-8.
Give up the middle, and it's Kreiderman slipping free across the 5, stretching to the end zone. Got it. Touchdown Cardinals with 1:23 in the third quarter. And Kreiderman, the speed on display, fights his way across the goal line for the touchdown.
Yeah, just inching his way in, breaking through all the coverage and able to reach over and get a touchdown. And the north side clock is back now.
Cardinals Cardinals have done it both in the air and on the ground. Despite the 2 interceptions from Sullivan, they've been sharp with both facets, and that time on the ground, they allow the junior to just do it himself and put the Cardinals past the 50 marker, pending the extra point.
Gabe Hopkins coming out. Let's kick another one.
Clock stopped at 1:23 as Hopkins with the kick. It's away, and it's good. Perfect tonight for the Cardinals as Gabe Hopkins, the junior himself, another one up and through the uprights for Davison. And the special teams has been strong tonight. Mason, you mentioned that earlier in the ball game. Special teams has been strong. I mean, you look at Perfect kicking the extra points, you might think that those are just gimmies, and really they are, but still you got to do your job at the end of the day. You also see the kick that was recovered by Smith, the other one that was booted across the 50. Fortunately for Grand Ledge, they were able to still somehow maintain possession, but still the special teams has shined tonight for the Cards.
Yeah, for sure. And Hopkins has been pretty consistent all season, too. I mean,
I'd have to agree.
One of the top scorers in the SVL just off of extra points.
And that's pretty incredible. We put the relation to the Jason Hansen factor for Gabe Hopkins, and that's good company to be in when you're related to that. 30 extra points coming in tonight. He does have a touchdown on the stat line, but responsible for 36 points. That's third in the SVL. Pretty good company to be in with the names of Fordham, Terry, Hopkins, Sullivan, Smith, and the Cardinals, as we had looked at the graphic earlier, responsible for the top 5 scorers in the league.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, you never see a kicker up in the rankings that high, but I mean, when you're the highest scoring team in the state, it happens.
Lowest that the Cardinals have scored this season was 41, and that was last week against Grand Blanc, where they only played 2 quarters. 48 points that they had scored against Powers, but 69 is the season high, and the Cardinals 2 touchdowns away from breaking that.
Yeah, really showed out there against Bay City. Only allowed 13 points, too.
Kick that's muffed at the 15, but on one bounce picked up by Loring, and was able to gain at least a few yards after that. Fortunately for the return man Loring, it bounced in his favor, just stayed right next to him up in the air. He was able to just keep his wits, scoop up the football, and gain a few yards.
Yeah, a lot bobbled. Bobbled the, what's the word? Just on the receiving end of the ball.
There you go.
These kickoffs, yeah.
Well, and he stayed with it, too. That's a lot of times you could lose it, even if it is right next to you. You get a look at the Cardinals sideline, breaking down their offensive drive, getting a breath, as this drive will likely take us to the quarter. 40 seconds remain in quarter number 3. As the Comets now on their 3rd drive in the quarter, Davison with 2, both resulting in scores. Give on the far edge, and maybe a yard or 2 as the Cardinals bring the pressure outside. They're home for it. It's going to bring up 2nd down as we're at 25 seconds left in quarter number 3.
Yeah, and you wonder for the 4th quarter if they're going to just bring on most of their
I think so.
Guys.
Yep, I'd have to agree with that. I think that they would. In a 56-14 ball game, and for our folks at home, running clock per MHSAA rules of 35 points or more. And that's where we are at as the final seconds pass by off the scoreboard in the 3rd quarter. It'll take us to the final frame of play from Cardinal Stadium on homecoming night. Davison in front big, 56-14 our score, pending the start of the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and looks like we might have things going down to Jillian Tate in a moment here.
I'd like to remind you, please keep your tickets until we have a winning ticket announced. Please do not throw your tickets away until we announce our winner. Once again, our second lucky winner here this evening is an orange ticket. 0758-209.
Well, we couldn't hear from Jillian Tate there as we just have the 4th quarter starting and a fresh 12 minutes up on the scoreboard. Comets look to go in the air to start the final frame. They do unload And it's going to drop incomplete on 2nd down and 9, make it 3rd down, as the intended receiver was number 7, Jonah Lyon. And Mason still no Carter Selby, really the biggest receiver for the Comets that they had targeted tonight. He's got both touchdowns, but on the opening drive to start the second half, went down with an injury, walked off the field, and I think, obviously a guy that they're going to need for the remainder of the season. I think the Comets just say, you're done for the night.
Yeah, just give him a rest. I mean, no point in trying to aggravate an injury like that in a game that they're already pretty far behind in.
That's the same case that we had for the Cardinals' homecoming king in 2019 in Luttrell, an injury in the second quarter that is keeping him out of the ball game. Pressure up front, thrown, and a big hit from Smith as the ball dropped to the grass, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And that's how you play the game. Yeah, you saw it popped out of the hands of Welch, but still playing to the whistle.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like if he had focused a little bit more on the ball there, might have been able to make a grab there, force a turnover.
Smith just neutralized the target.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just took it out of contention and said, you look at what Flowers had done, the interception that was dropped for a touchdown, went right out of his hands, can't take any chances.
Either way, it's going to be a 4th and 9, and they're going to be punting it, so back in our hands.
It is Smith back to return with 10:30 and counting in the final quarter of play. Some fans heading to the exit, some fans sticking around to wrap this one up, and yeah, that is a great kick. Going to drop at the 40, and Smith will just say, turn it over to the offense as the ball is going to be marked at the 33-yard line for 1st and 10.
Yeah, and those kicks are getting right up by the lights, man. It's going way up, making everyone look up in the sky.
So let's see who the Cardinals bring to the offense. Weingart's with the headset off. He's got his ones huddled up, but I don't think that's what they want here. They might use a timeout.
Yeah, maybe. It looks like there might be some miscommunication there on the sideline.
Colin Webster hustling to the huddle as Smith will head out. That's what you want to see. Webster wears 42, marked as a senior and the running back listed on the roster. We see the Cardinal Bigs.
Yeah, talking it over, looking over some film. It looks like they're bringing Hayden Bailey on.
Coach Glennie there walking the Cardinals through some things. Davison will have it 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Clock is ticking, but the Cards got a hustle here as Sullivan's still in the backfield for Davison. Got some new names, though, for the Cards. Terry on the sideline with Unger, and flags will fly. I don't think the Cards got it off there.
Yeah, I mean, good idea to rest all their...
No, that's not Sullivan.
Yeah, it's Hayden Bailey.
Yeah, it's tough with the 6 and the 8, but
yeah,
you are right, Mason. That is the junior, fellow junior.
Yeah, those letters are real blocky this year.
Yep. And really the stature that they kind of look the same as well, but...
Yeah, just about.
It is fellow junior quarterback Hayden Bailey now in the backfield. Man in motion, and it's going to be given off to Bradley Blackwell. Off the edge, hit hard, but got to like the aggressiveness. Blackwell lowered the shoulder, took it past about the 34-yard line, a short gain.
Yeah, helmet to helmet hit there. That's pretty big. And he took it like a champ, just put him right on the ground and able to get an extra yard or 2.
Good for about 6 as the Cardinals get it back to the initial line of scrimmage. That was at about the 33-yard line before the delay of game.
Clock winding down to about 8:27. Man,
that's the goal.
Yeah, it flies.
That is the goal in this part of the ball game where the job has been done. If this core can get you a touchdown, great. But at this point, keep the football on the ground and just continue to melt that clock. Bailey waiting for it in the backfield. He will give it up the middle to cross the 35, and a short gain for the Cardinals is going to bring up 3rd down.
Hopefully they can convert this so they don't have to punt it. I wonder if they're going to have to bring their A-team out for their defense, or if you think they're just going to rest those guys, bring on their more second-string guys.
Yeah, I think the starting unit is done for the night. As you look at this point, safely look ahead to next week and Warren De La Salle, just the second all-time matchup for these two teams. Last year at Cardinal Stadium, squared off for the first time. And what a ball game that was, as it was a packed house. Here's 3rd and 6. Bailey with a stacked backfield, and he will keep it himself up the middle. Quarterback is wrapped up at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a little bit before that, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And the Cardinals, for the first time tonight, will boot this one away. That means Brendan Sullivan back on the field.
Yeah, and like you were saying about that De La Salle game, I mean, it started off good for the Cardinals, had that touchdown to open it up.
It was great.
Then 35 unanswered points right after that.
That was, De La Salle had the football to start the game, and they were driving right down the field. But on a little sweep attempt on the far sideline, it was popped free, and Ray Cole hopped on it. Then senior took it all the way to the house, and just a huge way to start the ball game. But unfortunately, that's the high point for the Cardinals. High snap, it leaves Sullivan's head, and now having to do something here on his feet. He'll sit down basically at the 5-yard line. Boy, not what you were looking for on 4th and 6 at your own 38. You lose about 33 yards there.
Yeah.
And the Comets with their best starting point tonight.
There's been some snap trouble. There was like in the first quarter, but they got it solved and hasn't really come up again until now.
That's tough. Again, and again, it's nothing that Sullivan can do there. I thought he would have just picked it up and just go down with it, but that's ultimately what he did.
Yeah. Forced back a little bit more than he wanted, probably.
Well, and you try to take the situation for what it is, as a couple cards quickly getting onto the field. And they're going to want to call a timeout. Cardinals not on the same page defensively, as there were 11 men on the field that had Flowers gotten on, but want to make sure that they're on the same page here with 5:58 to play.
Yeah, like you said, De La Salle, pretty good team last year. I'm pretty sure they made a pretty deep playoff run, too.
Well, they did, and that was back-to-back state championships for De La Salle, and they were able to just make it another strong year. This year, not exactly the case. I mean, still with the Catholic League, you've got to take it for what it is of really good football.
Yeah, and you wonder if Davison's going to be able to do something similar to that this season. I mean, looking pretty good for them right now.
Take a look at the upcoming schedule. The Cardinals, they've got the soft one of Saginaw Arthur Hill at 7 o'clock, and that one, of course, you see on DTV will be a home game. And then the big one against the Lightning at home to end the regular season on October 25th. That's one that you're going to want to be here for.
Yeah, it should be a thriller. Might be a little colder than this one, maybe. Later in October.
Good test for the Cardinals with their backs against the wall to come up with a stop. Todd, the quarterback, rolling, thrown, tipped, incomplete, as at the last second it fell out of the intended receiver's arms, and it looked to be Welch.
Yeah, it was rolling with it there and then just popped out at the last second. Not what the Comets wanted out of that. Looked like it might have been tipped a little bit there, too. Good on him for making the stretch and getting the grab. Well, almost. Clock's winding down to 5.5 minutes now.
Cardinals do force second down and goal at the 6. That was where Sullivan had to hop on the football. Not exactly what he was looking for, as he was given the job to come into the ballgame and just boot it away.
Yeah.
A high snap from center, too.
Rolling to the right, Todd weaves his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Third touchdown of the night for the Comets, and it's with 5:08 to play in the third quarter. This is the most points that the Cards have allowed since week 1.
Yeah, only allowed 27 against Fenton to our 56, I believe. Yeah, just not. It's a strong defense this year, man. It's a pretty strong defense.
Well, and tough for them there at the 6-yard line to try to keep the door shut on the Comets. The first time tonight that Grand Ledge was able to keep it on the ground and find the end zone. Both previous touchdowns were passing. Kick is up and a liner is good. Again, 5:08 to play in the final quarter as the Cardinals will put their offense back on the field. The starters are done for the night, and now the core offensively for Davison given the job to just neutralize this clock and end this ball game.
Yeah, and this rest is well-deserved. They've really showed out tonight for all the fans coming out for homecoming. You can feel the energy just in the atmosphere here.
Jillian will cap the final quarter for us down on the sideline at the end of the game. And then we will take a final look as we wrap up Homecoming 2019 to close our broadcast. But the Cardinals still having to do the job of capping this game. Cardinal students bundled up tonight, the coldest ball game. You can see the coaching staff on the sideline. For the players, For the folks at home, you think sometimes, how could they be short sleeves, and how can they do that? When you're out in the field and you're moving around as much as they are, I tell you, it's actually pretty easier than it looks, especially for the bigger guys. To them, sometimes they don't even notice the difference. But for the fans, when you're sitting on the aluminum bleachers, or the coaching staff's on the sideline, it can get cold.
Yeah, and even our crew on top of the press box, they really feel that. They really feel that cold.
Well, you're catching the wind at the worst angle up top. So a big shout out to our DTV crew tonight. Top to bottom, everybody, even back nice and warm in the control room in our DTV studio. Shout out to everybody tonight. Great broadcast. Caught at the 5 by Smith. He's going to look to make a return out of this. Up the middle with a seam. Across the 35-40, breaking the 45, just shy of midfield. And Caleb Smith says, okay, enough of this. My time to take this one back. And he almost did. Took the ball to the 49-yard line for first down.
Yeah, it took his best return on the night. And
I think so.
Yeah, lightning quick there. Like some Carter Craven speeds there. He's more of a big guy, able to take down these guys. But obviously he's showing off some speed there, too.
So Warren De La Salle awaiting the Cardinals next week. They have lost 2 in a row, but you look at who those 2 have come against. Again, in the Catholic High School League, that is tough football down south. And De La Salle falling to Brother Rice 2 weeks ago. That was a 16-14 absolute grudge fest. And then again against St. Mary's of Orchard Lake, 16-14, back-to-back 2-point losses for De La Salle. So a lot of people saying not the teams that we had seen the last 2 seasons of state champs at that level, but that's pretty good football that the Cardinals will have to answer to next week.
Yeah, some pretty stiff competition for them, too, down there.
Well, and you like it. I mean, that's, last week it was a Kyle Zimmerman schedule, the coach before Jake Weingartz, that had scheduled De La Salle. And I said to Jake, what's that like in your first season playing an opponent like that? And he said, I love it. I mean, when you want to get your team to that level, you got to turn up the heat a little bit on your schedule. And that's what the Cards are doing with a team from the Catholic League in De La Salle. I remember we played Orchard Lake my senior year, and that was tough. Big gain up the middle across the 30-yard line. And the Cardinals moving the football with 3:25 to play.
Man, that marching band's getting really loud. Having a great time tonight. And it was a good game, too, so.
It was Blake Summers on the carry. Yeah, great game tonight on homecoming week as the Cardinals will give it again to Summers. Meet some contact at about the 30. Can't get away from it.
Yeah, it looks like that guy wrapped his ankles around him in the last second. Able to bring him down right behind the line of scrimmage.
Cards do go backwards there.
Yeah, and it's not going to have too big of an effect on this drive, though. I mean, most likely it's going to move it out the field, burn some clock.
Looking bigger picture, this is a Davison team that has really turned things around program-wise. Obviously in a great direction in the Kyle Zimmerman era where it was winning in the regular season, but the Cardinals trying to string it together in the postseason. As on second down, the Cards get it back to the initial line to gain. A really tough region where most times you have to answer to either Carmen, who's a really tough opponent, or Clarkson in the Wolves, who obviously contending at the highest level in the state year in and year out. Not exactly the case this season, but still really good football by the Wolves. But as most teams, it's a tough route to try to get to the regional level and the semifinal level, even Ford Field.
Yeah,
and the Cardinals trying to get there.
Yeah, we haven't had a matchup against Clarkson yet this year, but Carmen, it was pretty similar to this one, just we didn't get scored on as much, but gave him a pretty good beatdown, needless to say.
3rd and 10. Give to Summers up the gut. He's met at about the 25, and that's going to bring up 4th down. Clock is down to 1:45 and counting as a late flag flies in at the top of your screen, just outside of the frame, and we'll see what we have here.
Yeah, it looks like a helmet was lost on that play. It might be related to that.
Mason, last time that the Cardinals played Clarkson was back in 2017, and that was after a 1-loss regular season to Midland. It was a 39-25 final against the Comets, a tough one in a divisional matchup. But then, you go on and you play Clarkston on November 3rd, and Cards were shut out in the district final game 28-0, and that's obviously not what the Cardinals were looking for, where they had met Lapeer, 14-12 final, and an absolute grudge fest. And the Cardinals were able to come out on top of that one, but then in the next week, didn't have the answer against Clarkson. That's the last time that the two have met.
Yeah.
I know it's certainly looking optimistic down the page if the two will have a rematch this year, but things looking really good as the Cardinals now in week 6, looking uncontested.
Yeah, and you talked about Midland. Them and Mount Pleasant are the only undefeated teams left in the Blue Saginaw Valley League division.
Give off of the edge, up the middle with a seam, into the end zone for a Cardinal touchdown. And it's the senior Brad Blackwell who finds pay dirt for the Cardinals with 1:25 to play. The Cardinals cross the 60 marker. This, I think, going to be their second highest scoring game of the season.
Yeah, and Brad's just putting salt in the wound with that one. But he found that big hole on the right side of the field and able to run it in for a touchdown.
When he did what he was supposed to do of running it off of the edge, but looking up the field, saw that it was wide open and just stopped and cut it up. Said, hey, that's wide open. And there you see the reaction from Weingarts on the sideline. It's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's going to stop the clock right around 1:25.
And so the Cardinals answer the Comet touchdown that they were able to punch it in from the 6. Now Davison trying to have the last say in this ball game. The kick was a low one, but good. We'll take another look. Comets will have this one more time as we take another look at the touchdown from Blackwell as he cut it up into the end zone off the edge. And exactly what you were looking for. Going to put the Comets offensively back on the ball for one more time. And a minute 25 to play. Wouldn't be surprised if this is the final possession that we see.
Yeah, clock's going to be running. They're probably not going to get too far, considering how the Davison defense played this game. So, should be a pretty quick ending here.
De La Salle with Catholic Central slated in this week, and obviously a huge matchup. And then to after the Cardinals, they answer with U of D Jesuit.
Yeah, should be some pretty good games coming up. It's always fun when you see De La Salle play. Great team.
Well, now the Cards go there, and there will be at Wayne State.
Yeah.
Some experience for Davison, as a couple of seasons they've squared off with Southfield A&T, and last year starting the season out, and that was, 2018 was the second matchup. But the initial in 2017, the first year, was an absolute shootout in overtime, 56-54. A couple overtimes, I believe, and the Cardinals were able to start out that year on a strong note.
Yeah,
and then last year, a 28-7, where a team in Southfield A&T where it thought, most folks said that it wouldn't be close and that the Cardinals would get left behind, but a lot of athletes for Southfield, but the Cardinals able to win that one by 3 scores and surprised a lot of people in the first year of the Jake Weingarts era.
Absolutely.
That one sails out of bounds as it lands at about the track. And that was Brennan Densmore booting that football. I believe it was, or it looks to be Hopkins walking off the field. So,
yeah, he talked about how we have De La Salle away this year, but we've had some pretty big home games this year too. I mean, Lapeer and Grand Blanc, those are big games last year. Big games this year too.
Well,
and they're
both
home.
6 at home, and
yeah,
obviously De La Salle on the road. That's a tough one to answer for the Cardinals. That'll be a pretty neutral environment, but still down at Wayne State, that's De La Salle territory. And so the Cardinal fans, no doubt, will be showing out. Or at least you hope so. Hint, hint. And then you've got Arthur Hill in week 8, and then the big one at home, capitalizing in the exclamation point of the home schedule for the Cardinals this year, and that's the Lightning. There's our crew back in the studio. Hi, guys.
Oh, what's up, Isaac? Giving a little wave.
Stealing the camera time.
Absolutely.
Off of the edge and losing the footing at about the 45 is the Comet ball carrier, and now underneath a minute of play as we start to put a cap on this broadcast tonight of Homecoming 2019.
Yeah, it's been a great game for Homecoming. I mean, nothing better than rallying up the score like that.
Well, and the big thing, too, is the weather that you don't have to complain about. It's been the last few years, the weather's been the issue.
Yeah, it's always been rainy or wet. This year, the cold definitely came, but it wasn't as wet, which is kind of nice.
Another give off of the edge, and that's going to bring up 3rd down with 25 seconds left to play. And the clock going to continue to wind down. It'll bring up, I believe, 3rd down.
15 seconds left.
That's going to do it.
Just about. Both teams are walking off.
Comets start to line up at the 50 as the final seconds tick away from homecoming 2019, and the Cardinals going to improve to 6-0 to start the 2019 season. 63-21 final. That's going to do it from Cardinal Stadium as a big win for the seniors. Always want to go out on your senior homecoming with a win, and the Cardinals do the job tonight, Mason.
Absolutely. They did some great plays on both ends of the ball. Maybe the score on the visitor side wasn't as high as they had thought it would be, but still a good game for them nonetheless.
And Davison, with the points being allowed, they'll have a week to try to size things up against De La Salle, but on a good note tonight, as it was a big win for the Cardinals. And now, to wind down our broadcast, we are going to send things down to Jillian Tate. Jillian, take it away.
And please call the home safety.
And we're going to throw it back to the video for homecoming this week. Our recap and what's happening with your Davison students at the Davison High School all week.
To take on the defending state champions, Warren De La Salle. That's next Friday.
First ever matchup
October
between the two.
11th.
Schultz going to look to throw to his right. Rolls out with time. Caught in the end zone by DeBerry for a Cardinal touchdown.